Okay. Show before the show. Where's that? There.
Oh, that's nice. Look at the.
People are listening to our show at Andrew Bailey's office.
Nice. Is that because of your daughter?
She told them, and they all like it, and so they sit there when they're doing their work and listen to the show.
Hell yes, they do.
They
it's because we effing rock.
That's right. So when you're listening, thank you, A.G. Bailey's
Lizzie,
office.
Joe, crew.
I don't hear you, Vic, in my earphones.
Testing.
Now I do. All right. I hear you now.
Hey, good morning, Karen, Troy, Ben. Annette says that her Facebook stream sucks in the office. Why is that?
I don't know. I guess it's your carrier. And a lot of offices have like blockers. And so you can't hear it as much. I notice a lot of people who do this now that they've had to go back into the office. They've gone to X.
Sorry. I forgot my canceled this cup too. It's I. It's I. What are we doing today?
Oh my gosh. There's so much to talk about. Some of it is not as interesting in others because on purpose they have Trump literally in this, as I keep saying, this cold courtroom, not really knowing what's going on. But they got him gagged.
What are you doing, Joe?
Messing shit up.
Oh, you never mess anything up, Joe. You are right on it.
Just walk behind me, dude. I know you got to get that light on.
It's the show before the show. You can do that. They're all good.
So what's going on, Lizzie?
You know, all good stuff. All good stuff. At home sporting events, grandkids stuff, kids stuff. What's going on with you, Vic?
Ha.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 jobs?
Yeah.
Trying to change a studio over?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Oh my gosh.
A lot.
Lacrosse. You know what? What a dumbass thing for Eureka High School to do. Now, I've got no problem with Eureka, but the people in Eureka who run their damn high school, this in the St. Louis area, I mean, they don't have a brain.
Ugh.
And I'm going to tell you why they don't have a brain. People in Eureka who run their sports program do not have a brain. They scheduled a damn lacrosse game on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm sorry, Eureka to where I live is out in the middle of nowhere.
At 9 o'clock at night?
Yes. No, it's 8 o'clock. You're leaving a high school event at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes. Yep.
That's bullshit. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
Should a high school event, lacrosse, an outdoor event, be getting over at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night?
I know it often does. I know my daughter's volleyball stuff doesn't get home until 10 o'clock 2 days a week.
Okay, what for high school?
Yeah, well, that one's club.
Yeah, club I get.
Club. Yeah. that's
Club have lost their mind. That's all right.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But a high school,
Yeah.
where you're not finishing a high school event on a Tuesday night until
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
It's crazy. Craziness. What's going on in sports today? Like, soon as I get done with the show today, I'll be leaving and going to, I got to watch how I say it, Washington, Missouri, instead of Washington, Missouri.
Don't say that.
my-
You do that?
Yeah, I got caught saying it yesterday. Washington.
Yeah.
They caught me on, I did it because I wasn't thinking,
I
and I'm
think
from North County, and I say Washington, and
I think I heard you say maybe the number that comes after 3, except 2 of them together.
Yeah, I don't say 44. I say the North County way, 44. And
That's not just the North
and
County.
quarter. Yeah, and I have to try
It's
to
a lot of
stop
people in
it.
St. Louis.
Yeah, and none of my kids have grown up talking like that. I just was raised talking like that, and so I have to stop myself from saying it. And people on the chat line caught me talking about wash you instead of wash you, because I call it wash you. So,
why are you in Washington today?
Yes, track conference.
Oh, a track conference?
Yes, they have conference before district sectionals.
Oh, that's this afternoon.
Yes, this afternoon.
gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's early. So, I mean, my kid gets out of school at 10 o'clock. So she can go run in Washington.
It's all right. Life will be much better when Trump's back in office.
Oh, amen.
I won't care about games not ending until 10 o'clock. High school games.
We'll be fine. We'll be happy about it. We'll be partying the whole time if they don't have him in jail. Gary's on the chat line thinking that he will be convicted.
Well, of course he's going to be convicted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why this was all done. It was
Of
a clown
course.
trial. Do you think they started this clown trial to find a non-guilty verdict?
No, of course
Of
not.
course not. This
Of
whole
course
thing was
not.
done on purpose from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I didn't realize how bad the accent is in St. Louis until I moved.
Yeah, I have the St. Louis accent.
I had to move to become a better person, to come back and go, okay, now I see what's going on.
Well, you're working with a true St. Louisan that has the accent for sure. And some of the people on the chat line were making fun of me yesterday, and a couple of them were like,
what?
no, keep it.
Wait,
And
because-
not making fun of me in a mean way. The chat line is wonderful, but just was saying, did you hear Lizzie? She said Washington instead of Washington.
Yeah.
Some of the people think it's funny. Some of them don't like it.
But when you get the show that we do and we open it up, you're never going to please everybody with anything.
Correct.
Anything.
Correct.
The closest you're ever going to get to people agreeing is Donald Trump.
I think you're right about that. I do. I think you're right. But I think our chat line, to be honest with you, is one of the smartest group of people I've ever met. And really, they're not that critical unless you like Joe Biden. You know, they're even pretty cool if you differ on the conservative side about stuff. They will think you're a dumbass if you like Joe Biden, though.
Speaking of accents, the one thing, I don't know what happened, but myself and some of my former co-anchors, we'd hear younger people come up.
Mm-hmm.
And when these are reporters, and I know the level of quality dropped significantly over the last 15 years.
For sure.
But they didn't know how to pronounce the word Clayton.
What'd they call it?
It is Clayton.
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 Oh, Clayton.
Whenever there's a
Yes.
T in the middle,
Yes, they drop
there's
it.
a younger generation that is not saying Clayton.
Mhm.
Hitting. I'm going to hitting.
Yeah.
And we would hear it all the time, live from Clayton. And my co-anchors and I would just look at each other like, oh my God,
Yes.
how did these kids even get out of journalism school?
Mhm.
How are you advanced past first, second, third grade if you can't pronounce the word Clayton? It's
Yeah.
Clayton.
Yeah. I
It's
heard
not
that.
Clayton
Mm.
or words like that. Hitting.
You're right. The
missing.
younger people do. If you turn on other conservative stations and they've got the news people, they talk like that. They talk like they, instead of saying Clinton,
Clayton.
and you think they're talking about
Benny,
Bill Clinton.
it's like Clayton.
Yeah. That's
Thank you. People
Clayton.
see it. They say that drives them crazy. What is
Yeah.
their speech? And I'm telling you, it's black, white, Hispanic.
Oh, it sure is.
Well,
Yeah.
the Asians do everything perfect. Never mind.
I don't know. I've got 2 Asians that live in my household, and they are not perfect.
But I bet they don't say Clinton.
No, they certainly don't. They certainly don't. And they don't even say Washington.
I'd rather hear Washington or 44 than
Yeah.
Clinton.
I know. I can't stand that.
Trisha says, I have a friend and her son's name is Clayton and she pronounces it Clayton
Clayton. Well, Clayton is
Clayton.
better fine than Clinton.
or
Like I have
Clayton.
a friend that their son's name is Hunter, and they call him Hunter. Like they completely don't say
They
the
call
T
him
in
what?
Hunter
Hunter.
instead of
Hunter.
Hunter. I had a dog named Hunter, and we called him Hunter, and people would go, "Oh, come here, Hunter." I'm like, "No, his name is Hunter."
Hunter. Hey, Joe, we might as well. We're a pretty organic show. Can you just tell me the videos you have when you get them? Why not? As we get the show before
Yeah,
the
it's
show
the show
going?
before the show.
Herther.
Okay, so yesterday's Rion video.
Yeah, you know what? We'll probably get to that today in the second
All right,
hour.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to it. FBI Director Christopher
Yes.
Way.
Yes.
Can
Can we see you when you're going over it?
Sure.
I love that aspect of seeing you.
People love to see Joe.
I don't have any light on me, but
We like to act like we're a
do.
big deal around here.
Yeah, we
Act-
are legends in our own minds.
Acting
around here.
being the key word.
That's right. Legends we are in our own minds.
We're working on that one shot of me and Lizzie, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are not great one shots.
Yeah.
Those are C's.
Mm-hmm.
C rated, maybe a C plus.
There's that's about the extent of our choices right now. We had to scramble to get the studio put together.
Yeah, we were
this morning.
scrambling again.
We had something last night that we set up for, and we had to completely go back and redo everything. So
Your creative juices, though, were flowing this morning.
yeah.
Pro Joe, they were flowing.
All right, so the next video is people line the streets everywhere he goes to catch a glimpse
Yes.
at Trump. Then we've got Biden on Trump.
Yeah, that was funny.
Harlem is MAGA country.
Sure getting to be, isn't it?
All right,
Harlem.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are the
Harlem.
videos, right?
Yeah.
I just may have to ask for your opinion too. Let me go. I don't have my list because we were racing to get everything set, and because Eureka kept me out till freaking 10 o'clock.
Come
last
on,
night.
Eureka. We should have called Derek, who's from Eureka,
Oh,
and
good
had him
God.
do something about that.
Well, they weren't going to stop a lacrosse game from going till 10 o'clock when it's
No,
scheduled
they
for
weren't.
8 o'clock. And it was foggy
Oh,
because it already sits down.
yeah.
It had rained all day.
Oh, yeah. I bet that was.
All right, you ready for the next video?
Yeah, talk to
All
me.
right, we got Biden, little kid gave me the middle finger.
Yeah, I don't know whether to be happy. I don't know whether to be happy about that or not.
I know. Isn't that sad? At one point, you're like, yes. And then you're like, oh, kid, that's so disrespectful, even though he is a dumbass president. Yeah. Oh,
What you got, Big Joe?
All
What
right.
else?
Then we've got Laura Trump, Newsmax. If you cheat in 24.
Yeah, this is kind of a preview too of things coming up on the show.
it
I
is.
like this.
It is.
All right.
Show before the show is still going on.
But you need to keep your left hand on the table so we can see your tat as you do that.
You're
So we do
really
this?
into tattoos, aren't you? No,
Yeah, I was going to
I'm
ask you
getting
if you're really serious about that.
No, I
can
think he is
contact
serious.
you.
thinking-
2
I'm
days in a
considering-
row,
Yeah,
he's
let me
mentioned.
know.
I'd like to try. Well, I always like Joe's tat. I think it adds something to his shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
And
happens to be where the
I'd like to
cat's at.
try a fake sleeve first.
Is there such a thing? I know there's like those fake
There
little
is,
kid
yeah.
tattoos. You
Yeah.
know, I've had those.
It's summertime. I'd like to do a fake sleeve just see how I feel.
Just know that I'll laugh at you.
Yeah.
Why? Is that like drinking
I mean-
duels?
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Is it like drinking a Bud Light?
I could
Not
see you
quite.
drinking a Bud Light and a wife beater shirt with your fake tattoo, sitting on the river in Washington.
Oh shit.
All right, then
We are worn out. We're worn out and it's only Wednesday.
I know.
Trying to redo the set and everything. So we got that coming up.
Yep, we got student reveals horrors of watching Girl 13.
Yeah,
brutally
Lizzie's
bashed.
going to talk about this.
Yeah, I got 2 videos for you on
I
that.
thought Leslie said the Stanley Cup, and I thought she
did
was
say
talking
that.
about some kid beating another kid with a
Uh-huh.
Stanley Cup.
Some of our listeners
She's like,
sent us
Vic,
that.
we're talking about the Stanleys. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I got it though too.
Oh, crap. Somebody said, Vic, don't get the tattoos. You're going to regret them later.
Yeah, and Glenn says don't get a demonic neck tattoo.
Oh, God.
Could you see?
Glenn
Vic's
won't
trying to
like-
be all newsboy, and he comes in with something right here that goes badass or something on.
Is
it.
that
But we're
demonic,
kind of
though?
not newsy news, though. Are we?
You know what? When I first started with you, you were totally newsboy.
Yeah, because you have to get out of that.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
not now. You're not. Yeah.
All right.
I just still like calling you that.
Do you guys know that Biden used to drive an 18-wheeler?
I know.
Oh yeah, I'm so impressed with
Yeah, we
all
got
of
that
his
video
skills.
too. Joe, today, on top of getting the set together, on top of punching buttons, you may need to tell me what we have, what else we have. Is that
Okay.
cool? We'll have fun with it. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's
Vic, get
gonna
a
be fun
Tyson.
show.
I would not do a face tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Not unless I was trying to cover something.
I wouldn't even do a face tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even though I've got one on my hand, it's just something different up here.
Yeah.
I got a
Something
beautiful face.
different up here. You do have a beautiful face, Pro Joe. You do.
And the last video that was sent was from Lizzie about we need more fathers like this.
And that still goes about the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the second part of it. That's
Okay.
the second part of the story.
Do you have a picture of your husband?
What?
More pictures like this?
More pictures like this of my husband? No, it's pictures more about the Stanley Cup.
Hey, by the way, I just got an update. Wait a minute. Is this the Roadhouse?
Are you talking about Wendy's?
Oh,
Yeah, I just got a. Yeah. I'm just making sure that I have it, that I say it correctly.
So excited about that.
Real quick, as I give that information. Hey, before you know what? We'll start the show. We're boring people. All right.
Everybody's like, yeah, we came for the news.
We
Yeah,
came for the
we'll
news,
get
and
it.
you two are just talking
Sorry.
about Eureka.
Eureka! All right, let's go ahead and start the show, Joe.
Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks alongside Pro Joe in the house. Can we go to our two-shot, Joe?
I didn't know if you wanted to do it. Yeah.
No, I didn't like you. Well, I like.
We'll work on the one shot.
Yeah, it's shooting up at me too.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be shooting up first thing in the morning.
No.
There's
that's always
nothing
bad
worse
luck.
than shooting up in the morning.
It's always bad luck.
That kind of ruins your day.
Well, for some people it doesn't.
Yeah, some people might liven up
What do
their
we
day.
got? We got a cord here. It's going. Yesterday, I think it was going the other way. Pro Joe, I'm all tangled up.
Sorry, man. We got
I don't think
we got to
you
find
need to
permanent
apologize.
places for everything.
What the heck? Okay. Here we
Permanent
go.
places. Permanent places.
Let me see here.
Vic's got
Can I unplug them both?
Vic's
or
got
will I
cords.
lose?
Well, you'll lose power on the one, but I think you can still connect through Wi-Fi if you do the blue.
Dude,
cord.
we
You
are
can
a
get rid of the
we're a
blue
shit
cord.
show today, my
Well,
friend.
like that's what I did. I don't have any wires hooked up because I'm on the wonderful AT&T Wi-Fi here.
Okay,
Aren't
I
you
got you.
impressed?
Hey, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. We've been going through some growing pains this week as we move into our new set, our new look. News, headlines, politics, cancel culture, education. You got all the stories. I told Lizzie today there's like 20 stories, nothing that's like, oh my God, I'm so passionate about, but we've got so many of them. If we're missing anything, let us know. It's the People's Platform, the fastest 2 hours in podcasting, as you know. Let us know what's on your mind this morning as we try to bring up some of those stories. I do appreciate the stories that people are sending. Glenn Thompson, I will get to the Tucker interview with your private content. Thank you. I did not have a chance to do that since I was out late in Eureka at a lacrosse game, trying to get up early today as we continue to do what we're trying to do here. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And by the way, if you didn't see a show, go back, like it. It's saved right there on all of the platforms on our website, cancelthisshow.com. We have a donate button to help us with our free speech. We have merchandise. And of course, any stories that you guys have, any ideas for interviews, let us know. We stayed away from the interviews this week in regards to why we tried to redo our big, beautiful studio. Shot a wonderful video last night. It's a Mother's Day tribute. We'll leave it at that. When it gets done, we'll show you the work that we did to make that happen. So a lot of things happening all at once. Shooting up with caffeine. Yeah, I already had one coffee, and I wouldn't mind another one this morning. That's for sure. Okay. So much going on. Lizzie's got sporting events today.
I
got
do.
sporting events. Please like, subscribe, share the show. Check out all of our platforms. We're on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Cloud Hub. That's where you can watch us live. And of course, it saves there. And of course, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google, all your usual audio outlets as well. Okay, tons going on a Wednesday. The crazy case yesterday, I mean, with Donald Trump, look at have you seen the video of people out in New York?
Yes, I certainly
this
have.
isn't just Donald Trump showing up and some people, hey, look at there are hundreds, if not thousands of people showing up to try to see Donald Trump.
It looks like
to try to be there. I guess you know what? It does.
It looks like a rally.
It looks like a damn rally.
It does. And I think that's great. So even though he's, quote, not campaigning, he is campaigning. So it's great. He's got rallies that come to the courthouse.
As long as the media covers him and shows that he's there, then yeah.
Well, they're not. We are, and other people are, but not the mainstream.
I mean, look at the video. We can talk over it, Joe. I mean, these are people. How many videos do we have of all the people showing up? 1, 2? I couldn't remember.
I think there might be 2. I'll have to.
I mean, look at this.
That is
for
so
Donald
exciting.
Trump.
See, that looks like a rally.
They have to fence people off.
I love it so much.
And yet the deep state, the Democrats, continue to do this fake trial where there is no evidence. If there is any evidence, it's on the side of one Donald Trump. And we've shown you the letters. We've shown you everything that's going on. Joe, if you find other video, pop it up. If not, that's fine too. And the witness out of the gate yesterday, the witness that we had was David Pecker, National Enquirer guy. He literally testified yesterday that there was no written agreement or evidence or any agreement anywhere. He says it was just verbal and understood between he and Trump and things that were going on. He shouldn't even have been allowed on the stand yesterday.
That's right.
They literally stopped their entire prosecution yesterday if it was down the middle, and it wasn't down the middle, and it won't be down the middle. What happened yesterday was unbelievable that it even happened in a court of law. They know it's a kangaroo court. Nothing's happening. They're not doing anything. The decision has already been made. What's going to happen when it comes to Donald Trump? Literally, David Pecker testified that he's the one who told Trump that women might come to him with stories because he was a very popular guy, because Trump was the most, eligible bachelor. And he had dated beautiful women in his life. So many people are jealous of Donald Trump.
That's it. Especially weak men. They're so jealous of his balls. I mean, it's just like he's got I mean, he does.
But Trump was just planning a campaign run, but it was this Pecker dude, the Pecker.
Yeah, when I heard his name, I giggled like a little school kid, but
He's
I'm
a little
like,
guy.
He is a little guy.
Call him Little Pecker.
Little Pecker. Little Pecker.
Little Pecker.
Little David Pecker.
And Michael Cohen, the convicted felon, the star witnesses for the prosecution, were the ones that were worried about women coming forward. I mean, does the prosecution even realize that they made themselves look stupid and ridiculous yesterday? Their key witness literally said that Trump didn't even come up with any of it. Hello. Anyway, Donald Trump is there. He's kicking ass as he does. You don't have to like him. But well,
a lot of people do, according to this video. I mean, they just do. He's got a rally every day. And I know that he thinks it's election interference, and it is.
Of course,
that he's in a courtroom. Yeah, he's in a courtroom with Mr. Pecker, and Joe Biden is out in all the key states, finally out of his basement campaigning. But I have no fear, because this is really like rallies and campaigning, and it's great. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
It's kind of like what we do. We're the new media.
Yeah, very true,
Donald Trump has the new campaigning.
That's right, he does.
And I love the fact that Joe Biden's out campaigning, because we get so many moments.
Yeah,
we get moments every day.
That's right. We get little campaign moments every day.
You can't make this shit up. Every day. Where do we start? Let's do we start with Joe Biden's lie, or do we start with his insanity?
Insane. Let's do the insane.
Okay,
first.
We'll give you his insane quote. If you can find that one, Joe Biden yesterday. Now, he's literally helping Donald Trump when he says the things that he's saying. Not about the 18-wheeler, Joe. I'm talking about the other one.
Little kid gave me the middle finger?
No, that's a third one.
And that's insane.
The information.
The
stories continue to give us. No, this was it's a funny moment, a laugh out loud moment. And the reason it's funny is because he literally gave Trump credit yesterday while trying to rip Donald Trump. He literally says that Donald Trump is continuing to show us what we need to see about the Democrats. Did you find it yet?
I don't know why he's
okay. Hold on a second. I don't see. All right, go ahead and play it when you get a chance, then, Joe.
we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
Listen to this. Listen to this a few times. This is why I don't mind him being out in the campaign trail.
Me either. I love it.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
I love it. I love it.
Apparently, infinity. Joe, can I hear it one more time? This is the president.
I just love it because like even Linda is saying on the chat line, we want to.
We have to prove we can't be trusted.
We can't be trusted. We can't be trusted. I love it so much.
I needed to come in today and start off with a good moment, but he gives us this crap every day.
Every day. And like Linda's saying, the
how many times does he have to prove that we can't be trusted? Well, I guess every day, Joe.
Every day.
Every effing day.
Yep. Every damn day.
Gary says he's an effing mental midget. Yeah, pretty much.
He really is.
And then the audience laughs like it's a joke. We constantly talk about, we know that the man has been selected. We know that, people are dressing him. We know that he doesn't know what's going on. And, we don't even say it tongue in cheek. We say it in reality.
Yeah.
But now this situation going on, he does it every time he's out. He screws up. Every single time that dude is out, something is happening. Oh, but that's not it. Joe also lied again. Why is it that this man, everywhere he goes, he feels like he needs to lie to make there be a connection?
He's a big exaggerator.
He would
attention like a little kid.
Like he'd show up at your house and say to your girls, your Asian girls, he would come up and say, oh yeah, I've adopted Asian kids too.
Yeah, he would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally did. Or his Uncle Bozy did.
I grew up in Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's right.
I went to churches with hairy legs. Yeah.
The kids like my hairy legs. Like my hairy legs.
Okay. The mental midget as the and by the way, this is canceltheshow.com. Big Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house.
Let's not forget Corn Pop's a bad mofo.
Oh,
that's right. Corn Pop. We can't forget
Pop.
about Corn Pop. That's right. I'd like to see Corn Pop and Uncle Bozy in the same place. I think that would be a lot of fun.
If there's any artists out there, I want to make a cartoon called Corn Pop so I can animate. Just send me a message.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, the stuff he says, and if you are not voting Democrat, then you ain't black. I mean, he just says the damnedest things all the time.
Oh, but that's not it. So here we go. It's called pandering to the liberal left, guys.
That's right.
Chris Steiner says, remember, Robin Williams knew Sleepy Joe was an idiot back in the 90s. Go look at his comedy routine on Joe. I did. I see it just about him plagiarizing, stealing things, stealing speeches. He's a fake. He's a fraud. He's a phony, and it's been that way for a long time. Here is Joe Biden with a lie from yesterday, saying that he used to drive tractor trailers.
Yeah.
We'll explain it afterwards.
Besides, I used to drive an 18-wheeler. You know what I did? That's exactly right. I used to drive a tractor trailer.
Oh, awesome.
And so I know a little bit about driving big trucks.
No, that's great.
But anyway, I only did it for part of the summer.
Oh, okay.
But I got my license to do it.
Lie meter.
Lie meter.
Joe Biden just lied. And by the way, the trucking industry looked. Joe Biden never was licensed.
Never was licensed. But he had to say it again because the first time he lied in his mask about being an 18-wheel truck driver. Now he had to do it without his mask.
Just be honest. Stop. He doesn't have the capability. Yet there are still people who, I hate Trump. I got to vote with Biden. But the problem is, many of the people I've had conversations with, they don't know because the media won't show you all of these Joe Biden moments. They don't show it to you. That's why we do what we do. That's why we want to continue to do it all day long, all night long. All we need is the resources to continue to bring you the information we did. Megan says, oh no, guys, of course he did. Back before he went to the moon with Buzz.
That's right. I forgot he went to the moon too. You know, you're making fun of Joe Biden.
Great quote. Megan.
But he's really multifaceted. I think you're just jealous of Joe Biden because you wish that you could drive his truck and go to the moon and, you know, have your uncle eaten by a cannibal. I mean, that's all.
Yep. Raised in the Puerto Rican church and a black church.
That's right. He's just so wonderful.
I mean, and then the next Joe Biden part, I don't know what to think about this. We had to start with fun today, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Was kind of in that mood. Gary, I'm glad that you think I'm cracking you up today.
You are cracking us up.
What the hell? I mean, is it good that little
I've never thought I'd.
Oh, there he is again. Joe Biden was just in our studio. Did you hear that?
He just pops in.
He does just pop in.
I've never thought I'd.
There he is again.
Leave us alone, Joe.
Yeah, please leave, Joe. You know what? The grub
You
one is
creepy
Joe.
mother trucker.
Literally. Oh, yeah.
But that's not it. That's not it.
That's not it.
Oh my God. Okay. Then I don't know whether this is a good thing or bad thing because the classy Vic,
The classy Vic.
the Vic with integrity,
The newsy newsboy.
the
Newsy newsboy Vic.
newsy news. You always
Yes.
call me newsy news.
I love it.
Newsy newsboy Vic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a cracker.
Yeah.
You know, my son's name is Graham, and they call him Graham Cracker.
Oh, I bet they do. I never thought about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Graham Cracker. But it worked for football because he'd
Yeah.
crack the wood.
Good for him.
Anyway.
I think I'd rather be called Graham Cracker than Jolly Rasher.
Oh, yeah, Jolly Rasher.
Joe's last name, by the way, is Rasher.
Rasher. I
Pro
love
Joe.
that.
He's Pro Joe Rasher, Jolly Rasher.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's also
Okay.
a lot of things that rhyme with Vic. Just trust me. I learned those over the years.
Yeah, I bet you got
Like
yeah.
prick and dick.
Yeah.
I heard that.
I bet you've been called that a time.
Yeah,
I
that,
have
that
that.
was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was only punched a few times.
Only a few times. And not by a Stanley Cup either, I
No,
guess.
just put my head down. Leave me alone. I'm sorry. You dick, you prick, you Vic.
I have a feeling you fought back.
Never.
You didn't? You let people just hit you?
No, it depended upon the sex.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about being hit.
Got
by
it.
others.
Okay. Yeah.
Troy.
Got it. Got it.
Troy, I know we're kind of getting off the rail a bit. Vic said would.
Yeah, you said a
okay.
bunch of stuff.
My Beavis and Butthead reference. Anyway,
That's right.
the classy, dignified, integrity Vic says no parents should allow kids to be flipping off Joe Biden.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the reporter, the entertainment, the host in me
Yeah.
is like, you know what? After what this guy
I
has
know.
done and the
I know.
lies that he continues to tell,
That's right.
here's Joe. Are you really going to talk about this? Listen to Joe on the camp. I love him on the campaign trail. Get out more.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I've never thought I'd see a time when I'm going through a neighborhood or a rural town in the West or something and see big signs that have a Trump sign in the middle that says F Biden and having a little kid standing with his middle finger, 7 years old, 8 years old. Well, I promise it happens all the time.
Of course it does.
I've never.
Oh my gosh. That's so, I agree with you because as a mom, I don't want my kids flipping off anyone. But you know what? I think, I mean, I can't say that because I had a shirt that said FJB. So, I mean, what can I expect my kids to do?
Well,
You
there
know?
you go.
You know? Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's what you could tell your kids to say, let's go, Brandon. And then you're not accused of flipping anyone off.
No, I guess so. But those are the fun moments that we get with Joe Biden.
I love it.
So what made me think about that was the fact that Donald Trump can't really campaign where he wants to. He's having to do it from New York. But give that poor guy a glass of water. Glenn says it happens all the time. Sherry says he knows all about the 7-year-olds. That's funny and sick at the same time.
That is funny and sick.
FJB
Yeah.
from
Oh.
Lizzie.
Mhm.
Chris says, hey, Vic, just turn around. Call it using Big Vic energy.
Let's do
Yes.
the big Vic energy. Hmm.
Somebody wanted to do a show once
Yeah.
with him, and they're like, yeah, we'll call it Big Vic energy.
We should
the
have
name
called
of a
this show that.
podcast.
That's
Big
what we
Vic
should have
Energy.
called this.
Yeah.
Cancel this. We can still do that.
Big Vic
Cancel this
Energy with
Big Vic.
Lizzie.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Does he have a wad of mucus in his throat? Yes. Yeah, he does. Or ice cream.
It's ice cream. It's the phlegm from the ice cream.
I mean, it's nasty. It's bad. These are some of the things that are going on, trying to have some fun with it. But at the same point in time, it's not funny what's happening to Donald Trump. And Biden's out campaigning, and he still hasn't called out the crap that's going on in New York. How about Columbia University?
Oh.
They have now gone to full learning online. That's right. And I looked at it. The tuition is closer to $87,000 to $90,000 a year.
Wow.
So now you have students and student families demanding that they get their tuition back.
I think they should.
Because what they signed up for is not full learning from a freaking laptop somewhere else. Columbia University, you've gotten yourself into a deep problem. And here's the other situation that's going on with it. These encampment groups, these pro-Palestinians, and now Columbia University and their Egyptian president is actually admitting, these are maybe a problem. Gave the group until 12 o'clock midnight last night to leave or possibly face the National Guard removing them, because they're not just there standing protesting peacefully. They're causing problems and they're interrupting people. They're not allowing Jewish students or anybody who supports Jewish students to even get to class. And they're admitting that somehow, some way, outside actors, not students, are the ones who have gotten in and been most of the problem and have really incited the riots.
I'm sure that's the case.
It doesn't matter. Clean the shit up.
That's right.
So now the president she got called. She got called at the card table last night. The students basically went, F you, president. They refused to move. So you know what the president did?
What?
The president, okay, well, we're going to give you 48 more hours.
Yeah, that's right.
48 more hours. Yeah. And you know what they're like? Yeah, okay, whatever. They're like, well, we need to negotiate with these kids. And they're calling them kids.
They're kids.
We need to go negotiate with the encampment group.
Right. They're not even letting
hello?
professors in. There's Jewish professors that have lost their ability to go into Columbia, and they're saying it's for their safety. And I saw a video yesterday of a Jewish guy or Jewish professor standing up and screaming at what he called the COO of Columbia University. And he was so mad because he was Jewish and is not allowed. That's the professor now too. So they're picking on these professors. And I want to say to the professors, okay, I hope you recognize what's going on here and you don't vote for a Democrat again, but you can't fix stupid.
Well, aren't most of the professors for this?
Yes, but he wasn't.
Yeah, no, this was an Israeli. He was an Israeli professor. I saw the video. His card, they wouldn't allow him his normal access because he had complained and asked if these people that were protesting were actually terrorists. So they tried to punish this teacher for what he did. Sherry says Hitler first started it by eliminating Jewish professors, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft, we talked about it yesterday, pulled his money from Columbia University until they get their shit together. Yeah. And we showed you that interview yesterday. The other thing that's going on with that situation in Columbia is, on top of everything else that's going on, you still have students and people who are out there doing what they're doing. Thank God you have people. And yes, I see your the chat line. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, one of the senators who called on Biden to mobilize the National Guard to protect Jewish American college students in response to anti-Israel pro-terrorist demonstrations on campus. Yeah, and he's just acting like it's no big deal. If you turn on TV anywhere, what do you see? You see what's happening in New York, yet he's not talking about it. Yeah, I used to drive 18-wheelers. No, you didn't. You're a liar. You're a damn liar, Joe. So those continue to happen. Columbia University now is still getting pushback. And now you have more and more families demanding their money back. You know what? Columbia University deserves every bad thing they get because of the president they have in charge. They should have eliminated her in a heartbeat. But that's one part. I say it's one part of the, quote, cancel culture that they're afraid of. She's afraid. And she's afraid to stand up to the students. And the administration and owners and donors are afraid to fire.
Right.
We do see cancel culture going away. Not completely, but there are instances of it. Big school, academia, not one of them. That's where it's bred. That's where the biggest bacteria
right.
still remains, unfortunately. And that's what you hope you can somehow, some way change what is going on. But the fact that they are giving these protesters, students, an opportunity to negotiate. And the other sad thing about it, Fox News had their morning host. I can't think of his name. The African-American guy.
Lawrence Jones.
Yeah, Lawrence went out and did a man on the street.
Mm-hmm.
They're clueless. They're
Yeah,
like, we didn't.
clueless.
October 7th was bad. Yeah, but 1945 to here was worse. Trying to justify what happened October
Right.
7th.
Mhm.
Saying, well, there weren't any substantiated claims of women being raped or babies killed or people being killed. They
believe that.
They don't get it.
They don't.
Somebody raised these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody raised these kids to be like this,
Yes.
whether they're stupid or whether they're just liars. And neither is a good way to go through life.
Or they're either raising
Some
them
people
and
are
they're
both.
a Democrat, or there's somebody that's like, it's the parents that are like, I'm not political. I don't get involved in any of those things. I let my children make their own choices. And if they want to go to university and act like a dumbass, and if they want to go there and be liberal, they need to do you. We need our real selves to come out. That's what the parenting is today, is they don't want to tell their children anything. They don't want to tell them the truth. And I'm not saying you should tell your child exactly what to think, but you do need to teach them how to think. We've been saying that for the last couple of days. And so they're sent to colleges and the kids don't know how to think, and the professors tell them what to think. And the parents just sit there going, well, I'm so proud of little Johnny that he's even going to college at all.
You are the perfect mom, by the way.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Through trial and error, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. I have, 5 kids, and the oldest and the youngest are 17 years apart. And I think I have been a better mom to my 3 youngest than I were my 2 oldest, but I'm pleased my 2 oldest have turned out really great.
You know what?
Despite me.
I was a better parent by child number 3 too.
Yeah.
You just learn. You get better.
Just learn.
As anything in life, experience.
Poor oldest kids, and I'm an oldest kid.
So
and
am
parents, are guinea pigs.
I think that's why you get me.
I do get you. I do.
Because you're an oldest child too.
Yes, for
now,
sure.
Projo reminds me of the baby in the family.
Projo, are you the baby in your family?
I am.
Okay.
Holy shit, I knew it.
There you go.
I knew it.
Uh-huh.
And that's not a bad thing.
No,
a
it
good
isn't.
thing. It's just I can just tell.
The birth order actually does kind of help map out who you are. So most parents don't think about that you have to understand which birth order your kid is and overcompensate for what could be the normal sibling rivalry. So I've worked really hard not to baby the baby. We're actually kind of hard on her as far as athletics and all that kind of stuff so that she doesn't act like a baby brat.
Well, look at how Joe Biden raised Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Look at it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree there, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you comparing me to Hunter?
No.
We would never compare you to Hunter.
No. You're,
because your cocaine is hidden. I mean,
no, he's into the bud, not the white stuff.
I just had to say that. I just had to say that.
No, not at all. Kathy says, I see so many times that when kids go away to college and become liberals, the parents change and believe what their kids are groomed to say.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. Parents just don't have the balls anymore. I talked about this at one point in time. One of my former co-anchors literally became soft conservative into maybe right liberal in their thinking because of their daughters. I'm not giving a name of the person, but
how come you can't give a name?
Super popular person.
Can't you give initials? Just give initials.
Because everybody in the St. Louis area would know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now see, I said it was a St. Louis person.
Yeah. So
but
now
literally became, did I already say daughters too?
Yeah.
Yeah. The daughters became super, super liberal, going to a college Christian high school.
Yep.
A Christian high school. Oh, that's a Christian high school. The girls became super liberal at this Christian high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's esteemed. Oh, we are Christian. We represent the Christian of West County, St. Louis.
When I knew,
and they became liberal, and then that woman became liberal. So yes, getting back to the point, 100%. Yes, that's it happens.
Yeah, when that high school that you're talking about.
How do you know what high school I'm talking about?
I know what high school I'm talking about because it's a very prestigious Christian, and a lot of the stars send their kids there. And when I saw a shock jock from St. Louis that is a crybaby liberal that blocks every conservative on his feet had his daughter there, I'm like, yeah, that told me everything I needed to know.
There are great people that go to the school, and they fight the good fight, just like it is at most high schools.
Yeah.
A lot of good people came out of that school too.
And a lot of great people are there.
How do you know what? You know the high school too?
We all know
Man.
what high school
I mean,
Was I that obvious?
yeah.
Yeah. And there are great people. I know people that are great that send their kids there too, but they are fighting this woke DEI.
But it can happen. It's up to the parents. The parents
is
do
up to
not
the
have to
parents.
change to be their kid's best friend.
That's right. They shouldn't.
And sometimes if parents have done something they feel bad about or guilty about, then obviously they may tend to try to be more the best friend to the kid.
True.
And then that's not what the kids need.
No.
I digress. We got off track from the Biden, Columbia University, but we see a lot of the parenting gone wrong with these kids. We want this, we want that, bite the hand that feeds us. And the situation hasn't gotten any better. It just become another sideshow. Is it coordinated on purpose? Because we already know nothing's going to change. And then the only thing that's bad are the Jewish kids who are just trying to go to school.
That's right.
And then Columbia University screws them over saying, yeah, we're going to go to online learning for the rest of the year. Okay. Really? My $90,000 a year education is now an online university degree from DeVry? Really? Okay. There's nothing wrong with online, but I don't know anybody that's paying $90,000 for an online degree.
Right. I wouldn't pay $90,000. I know when my daughter went to SLU during law school and during the pandemic, she paid all this money and she just had to work on the computer.
Damn. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let us know how you feel. This is the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. Our chat line, second to none. We appreciate so many people, not only throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, but across the country and the world for that matter, jumping in with your thoughts. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well, here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. We bring in guests from all over the country when it comes to certain topics. No guests this week because we are redoing the look, the studio. That's why I have cords all over me. We're trying to do it. It wasn't done on purpose for a new look. Let us know what you think about if you've seen the old site, the old setup that we had. And now it's impossible to make everybody, this isn't it. We're going to have different shots and everything, but it is interesting. Most of what I heard was positive. If you like this compared to the older, feel free to let us know too. Because if it's just an echo chamber all the time, and if everybody loves it, that's great. But if you like the old setback, it's funny because everybody has such a different opinion.
They do.
On life, on everything. You can, I think that looks, well, you do? No, I don't think it looks like that. Just like food, just like music, just like a TV set. So anyway, not to bore everybody with that, but we like the feedback because yesterday, everything that I saw written publicly was positive. And it's been busting our ass trying to get the site. Or trying to get the set set up, all the shots, everything else with all the other shows that we shoot. And of course, the videos that we're now producing as well through Renew Media Group here at cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate it when you guys let us know how that's going. Okay. Something else that concerns the hell out of me. FBI Director Chris Wray, yet again, I think this is the third time we've gotten a warning. We've been warned that lone wolves could attack America. We've been warned that groups could attack America. We've been told terrorists can attack. We've been told Chinese nationals can attack. Our water supply allegedly is now being targeted as well. That's something we're going to talk about in days to come. Gee, Willie, that's so wonderful to hear. Thank you. And now on top of everything else that we have, oh yeah, guess what? Thank you, Gary. The set's awesome. We appreciate it. You get used to it. TV trays, maybe for your laptops. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Is it awkward holding your devices in your hand? Not for me, maybe for Lizzie.
You get used to it. You get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, something to put your laptop on. Maybe we'll see to the side. We'll see where that goes. Anyway, what was I just talking about?
You were talking about Christopher Wray.
Because I was up so late last night.
Yeah, you were talking about Christopher Wray.
Listen to him. Another warning. Does anybody take this serious anymore when you hear warning after warning after warning?
You know what? If it's like the boy who cried wolf. You hear it and you hear it and you hear it, or it's like your smoke alarm that you forget the battery and you hear it and you hear it and you hear it. So then you don't pay any attention to it anymore. You just don't. Some people do, but the majority of us don't even pay any attention anymore.
Here's Christopher Wray talking again, giving Americans another warning.
I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time. I see blinking lights everywhere I turn. It's the first time I've seen in a long, long time the threats from homegrown violent extremists, that is jihadist-inspired extremists, domestic violent extremists, foreign terrorist organizations, and state-sponsored terrorist organizations all being elevated at one time. Since October 7th, though, that threat has gone to a whole nother level.
Okay, Christopher Wray. Now, the reason we show you that is to remind you what he has said. He has come out publicly twice. Then yesterday, we were warned again about water being attacked. Now your water could be attacked. It's like, what the hell are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, every time we turn around, we're getting another warning, or we're being told that certain situations may be affecting our lives. You should have recliners and cup holders. Yeah, that would be really cool.
And they think we look really nice, but we also look a little uncomfortable.
Really? I feel so much more comfortable.
You do? Than standing up?
Yes. Yeah. I do not like to stand for 2 hours.
Yeah. And see, I'm a stander. And so I'm uncomfortable. And that's probably what is being radiated out there is because I'm
Because you stand on business.
I stand. I don't know if I stand on business, but like I'm a fidgeter and I'm like sitting here like a little
fidgeter.
statue.
Yeah, and you've got you look very tense. Your knees are together because
I'm
you got your
trying not
laptop
to.
on your lap.
Well, and a female is different than a guy. And I was told that
yeah, of
yesterday
course.
too. A guy can kind of sit like Vic's
Yeah.
sitting.
Right.
I can't do that. I mean, think about that is true. Now, if I did that, and I don't even want to do that right now, it would make it easier. Like how he's holding it, that would be much easier. But a female cannot do that.
You can definitely
It's
tell you're
unladylike.
conservative because a liberal would sit like Vic. A liberal female.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's exactly right. Well, you can see who's the liberal and who's the conservative on the set by how we sit.
Chris says, am I the only one that thinks Christopher Wray, the FBI director, is talking out of both sides of his mouth?
Yeah. I totally think he's talking out both sides of his mouth. I don't think he can be trusted at all. I think that he says things to get us all riled up, but then we can't trust him. So I don't believe a word he says. Do you? I don't believe anything.
I think he's trying to cover his ass.
Yep. I think
I
so
do
too.
think they have intel that something's going to happen on American soil. I'm on record as saying I think something's going to happen before 2024 election in November.
Yep, the Black Swan event.
We're getting ready. We're basically to May, so then it's like June, July, August, September, October in the next 5 months, 5.5 months.
I'm predicting 9/11.
Yeah,
and that's sad. That's sad.
Well,
sick, sorry, but
yeah, and we're gonna have to have ZZ back on because she has intelligence about this stuff, and she said there is going to be a 9/11, but it's not going to look the same. It's going to be simultaneously, but all over the United States. And what I mean by simultaneously, it might take a week. So we deal with one thing, just get done with it, have to deal another thing, and then another thing. So I mean, we're
Death
getting
by 1,000 cuts.
Yep, death by 1,000 cuts. That's exactly what's going to happen.
From the chat line, we've been warned about water for years. Thanks for the comment. Ray should have been fired years ago. That from the comment line from Peterbaugh. Predicting a mass scale cyber attack with violence to follow.
I agree. We already see that they're getting ready to do that to us. We're having all kinds of cyber issues. And you know who's making a lot of money right now? My husband deals with national security issues, and they are beefing up. I can't go into any details, but I can say this, that they're dealing with major corporations getting huge companies that actually deal with just cyber attacks. So they're expecting one before the end of the year.
What exactly does your husband do, if you can say, then, to give people a perspective of what's happening?
Yes, what he does is he has a degree in national security. And so basically what his job is to do is to help people make sure that their companies are safe. And it's not like physically like a police officer, but it's like digitally. I don't even understand exactly what he does, but it is in cybersecurity. Like even here, we could be under a cyber attack and literally we couldn't run our show. And so companies that are huge, like big Fortune 500 companies, and I cannot say who they are, know they're going to be attacked. And if those companies are going to be attacked, it will shut the United States down. And so if you can tell your child right now to get a degree, get it in national security or cyber security, because there's big money in that right now.
I was told by the guy who wrote the framework for Uber, the app Uber. I was told by him that, like 2 years ago, that cybersecurity is the industry to get into.
The number one security or industry to get into, because we have set ourselves up in America to go down and go down fast if we lose the security in our, our internet and our businesses. They won't be able to run.
Well, commerce stops.
Commerce stops.
Think
Yes.
about that. Commerce literally stops. And we already know cyber is a serious issue.
It is a serious issue.
And we have already been told, even people who don't think something was necessarily nefarious when it came to the boat, the ship that took out the Key Bridge in Baltimore. I've heard people even, well, yeah, it just goes out. Things happen, you know.
That's what they want you to think.
But guess what? That's still a cyber issue.
That is a cyber issue. So you need
a boat loses power, cell service. These are cyber issues. These are serious damn things.
Yeah. And it happened in a short period. The boat thing you're talking about, and everybody's, internets and things going down, and AT&T going down, all within a matter of 2 weeks. Come on.
Cybersecurity is another money grab, like the antivirus software. Really? Why do you say that? I'm curious from that standpoint, Robert. I would like to hear you respond. What is that? Because you don't feel there's anything that you can do?
Create a problem.
Yep.
Create the solution. You've got an industry.
Well, our friend BG is very good at that.
Yes. And that is what it is.
When it gets back to the the chandemic.
Right. Robert's not wrong that you create a problem and then now you got to have people in cybersecurity to fix the problem. But that's the problem. You have to fix the problem because they're going to create a problem.
Well, how about what Roland says? We need to use analog equipment again.
I totally agree with that.
All right, Greg, you're up.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
Need the analog, but you know what? We're not going to go back to that.
Jay feels as if these are all smaller events before something big happens.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about. I mean, here's the thing. We're not perfect. We're not right. We're not out in front of every single thing. But my God, when you look at our track record here, we've been out in front of a lot of things.
Yeah. And we've been
right because
most
of you,
the
audience with us as well, and the research that we do and the context we have in the interviews that we show. I mean, these are topics that need to be talked about because you're not getting it from the old usual sources. You're just not. And you know what you're going to get there. And it's so difficult when you go online and try to find things, which is why we sift through it and come together in a show here, the People's Platform, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, to try to do what we can. Jay reminds us these are all small things before the big event.
I totally agree with Jay on that. And we're already seeing the small things. It's already happening. People just don't want to see it. Our listeners do. But, with these loss of power, with the boat, with all the money things going on, we're getting hit. And they're just so little. And people's attention spans are so short. So it'll happen. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, we already forgot about it. And then they do something else to us. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, then it happens again. And they're already doing it to us. They're already setting us up for this big fall.
Well, when it comes to the security issue, Robert says, I was the MEP vice chair. What does the MEP stand for again? Been involved with the NIST, National Security Institute. Once again, Robert's been involved that he just says that there's lots of things that people don't know.
There is lots of things people don't know, for sure. Absolutely.
We're told nationally what we're supposed to know. We have learned that much, right?
We have.
You will know what we tell you to know. And then, of course, you have to talk to other people to figure out what you can. The country ran so good without internet. We really don't need it and eliminate any cyber risk.
Yeah.
The internet's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's the problem.
If the internet goes anywhere, this world goes with it. That's the problem.
And that's sad because you can run your business. All the years that I ran multiple childcare centers, I thought kind of what Jay did. We ran it with all the updated, computer information systems that would happen, but I was still very old school. I always expected an attack. So I did everything by paper and pencil too. So it was a lot more work, but there's always going to be some sort of a computer system that goes down.
Well, it does make you wonder when we talk about the cybersecurity aspect of everything and how things can change, especially when it comes to voting.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Because I mean, we had Kurt Barr from a local St. Charles County Election Board director explain it. He doesn't feel as if there's going to be any issues. Isn't that fair to say?
I do think that's fair to say. I don't know that he's right, though. I think that and I'm not bashing Kurt. I think he's doing a good job. I do. But I think he's doing the best that he knows how to do because he is doing a combination of the computer systems and the handwritten. The problem with that is there's no surefire way to make sure it's all okay unless you do both. And you've got some people that are just screaming not to have the computer systems. So, or the tabulating machines that for voting. And it's just, I think it's a no-win situation. The best thing we can possibly do is vote early, vote early, vote early, vote early, and show up at the polls and volunteer to watch what's going on and be poll workers. That's the only way we can ensure safe elections. And speaking of that, I'm very glad that Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, is part of the RNC now and dealing with this security. She's dealing with that right now with voting security.
Yeah, and here's an interview that she did yesterday regarding the RNC and what Laura Trump had to say. So what they're trying, and they have come out, and you can I love the fact that they're trying to give a good message, that we have a solidarity message. The RNC is different. Yeah. We're not going to allow happen any sort of voting irregularities.
I love that.
But once again, do people believe it? Here she is talking about what's going to happen with the RNC.
Alone fact, my mom used to be a polling person, a person who worked in the polling place. It was fascinating. So, just having someone there present will clean up a lot of the nefarious stuff going on. You just think of a cop putting his cop car outside a neighborhood tends to drop crime in the neighborhood. So with these people, will they be allowed to physically handle the ballots as well, Laura?
Yep, and that means, Eric, that they should know and they can count how many ballots come in and how many ballots should go out of every single polling location. Here's something else we need to make clear. If we catch you cheating and we're looking for you out there to cheat, we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. It is not worth it to cheat in a federal election. That is a crime, my friends, you do not want to commit. We need to ensure that people understand the severity of this and they are not even tempted by the other side to do anything nefarious. You combine that with our legal ballot harvesting effort, which we are well underway. The plans for that are going to be huge. Wait again until early voting starts. I think you're going to see a lot of that going on. So look, we're firing on all cylinders. We're leaving nothing to chance. This is a very different RNC than I think people are probably used to seeing, but it's all hands on deck. And we're really focused on one thing, that is winning. We can never see 2020 happen again. And we are putting measures in place right now, Eric, to ensure that it never does.
So,
isn't it much different, the messaging from Trump and the RNC? Isn't it interesting to see the messaging from Laura Trump compared to Ronna McDaniel?
Yeah, completely.
I mean, this is, and we're not over the
different
night and day difference. We're going to do what it takes. We're going to be in there. Can they really do this? This is the message. They want Republicans and people who might be leaning conservative to feel as if everything is going to be right, to go vote. Your vote does matter. But how is that? You think of all the places to vote all around the country. How can they do this? How can they get video cameras in? How can they make sure that this doesn't happen? And is that even the spot where voting irregularities can happen? Or is it done manually in some other way? I was told there's no way to change votes via computer system. Now I'm hearing, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Kurt Barr stood in our room and said, no, you can't access it and change votes.
Well, I think in St. Charles County, you can't do that. But I think if you're they won't allow you to do that. I've sat in meetings with Kurt Barr and I've sat in meetings with the Joe Brazel, the people that we had on there before, and they have completely different messaging on that. I don't think there's a whole lot of cheating in red counties. But if you live in a leftist Democrat county, I think there's all kinds of cheating still going on. I don't know if the cheating is going to stop just because Laura Trump is there, but it sure makes me feel better that the messaging is different. And she's trying to be a uniter. She's probably my favorite Trump. Not only did she back her father-in-law, she's very, very intelligent.
She's my favorite Trump.
She is. I mean, she's very intelligent. And I think she knows what she's talking about. She loves this country. And I think she will do
She
as
loves
well
her
as
Pilates.
Yeah, she does love her Pilates. She's a cutie patootie. But I think that if there's anyone that can do this, it's her. It just depends. I don't know if we have enough time, though. The problem is November's coming up really soon. So I don't know that she's been in there long enough to fix it, that they can't cheat enough that Donald Trump doesn't lose again. That's just my fear, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I get it. By the way, just was sent this by the AP. Trump has been indicted for taking more Chick-fil-A sauces than he actually needed for his order.
Who?
That was a joke.
Who
I
did
thought
that?
you would have gotten that.
I don't get the joke, but who did
Okay,
it?
let me do this again.
Say it again.
I
Yeah.
thought you and I were close enough.
Yeah, we are close enough. So set it up again.
This just reported breaking news from the AP. Donald Trump has just been indicted yet again for taking more Chick-fil-A sauce than he actually needed.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's right.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Donald Trump.
You're going to prison.
You know, they do treat that stuff like gold, by the way.
It is gold.
They don't
gold.
they don't give you more. Like if
Yeah.
you ask for more, they never give it to you.
That's right. That's why you have to buy your own Chick-fil-A sauce from your local supermarket.
It's my second favorite sauce,
It's the best.
only to the ranch that Wendy's makes.
Oh, you know,
I agree.
of Wendy's.
45, Washington.
Wendy's does by far have the best homemade ranch anywhere.
Vic has bought me lunch the last 2 days, and it's been wings from Wendy's,
Oh,
my
love
favorite.
it.
And that ranch, man,
It's
you
the best.
cannot go wrong with
It's
that
the
ranch.
best. I love it.
I'm glad some people got the joke. Sorry.
I think they got it faster than I got it.
I'm sorry. You know me though. I try to
You try to say it real
I float.
serious.
Yeah, I float like the butterfly.
That's right. You do
deadpan.
float by them. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I was half listening to the listeners and half listening to you, and I'm like, what? What about Chick-fil-A? Yeah.
Ben says the homemade ranch.
Oh, it is the best. It is homemade, and it's the best.
Yeah,
anywhere.
I don't know. That came across my feed line, so I had to say it.
You
Sorry,
had to
guys.
say it. You had to say
I
it. It
felt like
wasn't
I
even
needed a
April
break
Fool's.
because I was starting to get nervous regarding voting.
I'm getting nervous about. I think that is the
I don't
biggest
trust.
thing.
I don't trust the voting.
I don't either. And I don't think most
But
people
Laura
do.
Trump says that there's so much attention now being paid
Yeah,
that their humble opinion that Democrats caught Republicans off guard.
they did.
And not even if they were in charge of it, but lower levels of people.
Yes.
Even though they decided to stop a national election for the first time ever. Anyway.
I do think Laura's right about that there's going to be so many more people involved. You're going to see people taking off of work that day and working the polls. And so, and I saw the last time when I worked the polls, it was really interesting because you could cheat really easy because there's just, and I'm not going to say mean things about little old ladies and little old men, but I saw people in there trying to fool them and get more than one ballot and all that kind
Right
of
in
stuff.
front of you?
Right in front of me.
Damn.
Right in front of me. And you knew they were a Democrat.
But
Or maybe they weren't. Maybe they were a smart Republican that knew that cheating is what we had to do too.
I guess the thing that gives me hope is the fact that there's now new messaging from the RNC.
I love it.
That we haven't had in a long time. Actually addressing a problem, because we always know the first way you're going to fix a problem is to admit that there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Admit that there's a problem. Then you put the game plan together.
Yeah.
How do we stop the problem? The third part, how do we execute our cure to the problem?
That's right.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you have to do. So they're doing the first step in the process. Now, what will happen by 2024? We don't know. Will it be a rule situation where governors of each state will start to decide? And we're starting to see more and more of this happen when it comes to especially social issues where people go if they want to move to a different state.
Yeah.
I saw it with the abortion issues. Heck, I saw a new report that came out yesterday. 40 to 50% of transgender parents in the state of Missouri are now considering moving to a state that will be friendly to their kids and give them sex reassignment surgery.
Well, then they should, if that's what they want to do. I
so
mean,
maybe this is all, I mean, who knows what's going to happen by voting time?
that's right. So maybe they will move. I don't know. I feel sorry for the kids. If you're an adult transgender and you want to move to Illinois or wherever that is much more friendly, for abortions and trans rights, do that. But just, this is not what we're talking about today, but just leave those kids alone.
No, but exactly. And we talk about that.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got a study on that coming up that I'll
Good.
bring. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to pull up that study right now. Let me find it again. This was a study that I saw come out, and it blew my mind when it came to the whole transgender situation. And what I'm referring to is the fact that when this study was just done, it was done in the Netherlands. They tracked kids from 11 years old all the way into their 20s. And here's what the study said. And I know we're talking about election integrity, and I'll get right back to it. But since we came to that, I had it at my fingertips anyway. The majority of gender confused children grow out of that feeling.
Yes.
If they don't get the surgery, they grow out of the feeling.
Yes.
By the time they are fully grown adults, when their brain has fully developed,
Yes.
which is in the 20s.
Like 25-ish.
Okay, so the researchers in the Netherlands tracked more than 2,700 kids.
Yes.
That's a big study.
That is a big study.
From the age 11 into their mid-20s, asking them every 3 years their feelings about their gender and where they were and how they were feeling about life in regards to their situations. Results showed that at the start of the research, around 1 in 10 children expressed gender non-contentedness to varying degrees. Okay, but by age 25, guess what happened? Just 1 in 25. 4% said they often or sometimes were disconnected with their gender. That's it. 4% of 2,700 people felt the same way they did when they were 11.
Yeah.
But the rest of them said, no, they grew out of it.
That's right. Well, and Eric has said this on the show, almost what you're saying is it's a fad.
That's a big study.
It is. And it's a fad. Just like when some of us grew up, the people were like the burnouts, people in the 50s were one with the cigarettes rolled up in their shoulders. And then there was a time that it was emo and everybody, wore all black or they were goth. And so now that's just kind of a stage these kids are going in. It's usually the kids that aren't athletic, don't forget in any particular group or whatever. And so now these teachers and these other kids are saying, oh, well, then if you don't feel like any sort of way, then you must be a guy if you're a girl. So of course they're going to grow out of it. Kids go through so many stages. I mean, heck, I had a neighbor's kid that said he wanted to be a pizza and he wore a pizza costume every day. And he's now 30 years old and he's not a pizza.
Interesting.
He's not a pizza.
Transgenders alive from the pit of hell. Megan says, yeah, get them a one-way ticket out of Missouri. That's fine. If you don't like it, go to another state. And I still think we're gearing towards more of that anyway, just like President Trump said when it came to abortion.
Yeah.
Let the states decide.
I totally agree with that.
That's basically where that came from. I mean, when we had the Roe v. Wade situation that came down. Darlene wanted to mention when it came to the voting situation, when it came to what's actually happening with the RNC and people trying to trust what's going on. She says people aren't the problem, it's the machines. But then when I talk to people, it's like that are in the know, even Republicans say, no, the machines can't be altered.
Yeah, I hear a lot more people say they can't
be altered. Is it the software? I mean,
yeah, it could be the software. I think the voting machines can be a problem. I do. But I still think that our biggest problem is the mail-in voting. That's the biggest problem.
And it's going to continue to be a problem because it's not going anywhere.
That's right. No, it's not, which is so unfortunate. And it still surprises me in the last election that people didn't see it coming. It was like the whole pandemic came and then you saw these mail-in vote, ballots. And then you see these trucks come out in the middle of the night with bags of stuff dumped in there. And people still want to say there was no election fraud. I don't even understand how they can say that.
I think we know better.
I think we do know better. I think our listeners know better too.
Well, they do. I mean, we already saw what happened and what's going to continue to happen. So, the study in the state of Missouri said that over 40% feel as if their kids are being mistreated. And then you look at the study from the Netherlands that says if you give kids a chance, you have to be themselves and not let them try to dictate to you what they're going to do.
That's right.
But by their mid-20s, when their brain is fully developed, 96% said, yeah, I am really a boy or I am really a girl the way that I was born.
That's right.
I mean, those are big numbers. I mean, and
that's huge.
This wasn't done by the RNC. This wasn't done by a church group. These were done by independent researchers in the Netherlands, which you go, oh, okay, thank you. But then, of course, we know the media messaging and things that happen. When media gets a hold of things, they stop it. They'll take it from you. For example, it is that we already know about what Google did when it came to the elections. Google, and I love the research groups that call out the media, that actually do the studies that show you what was actually happening. I mean, we told you about this too. The Media Research Center, if you don't follow them, check them out on X. They're amazing. They found through their research that Google interfered in elections 41 times since 2008. 41 freaking times. Also, it was also found out, Media Research Center, Facebook interfered in some way with U.S. elections 40 times since 2008. Just remember that. We gave you these stats before. And some of the findings even found that the group that includes FB's censoring of the 2022 Senate and House candidates, as well as the 2024 presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
So that, and it doesn't just stop there. How about this? You've also got a situation where now you have, just listen to this. And this is what happens with the media, and why I say it's all deep state planned against Donald Trump and anything conservative. According to the Media Research Center, TV news failed to, just forgot to mention or identify the Fulton County DA. Remember Miss Fannie Willis or Fannie?
Fannie Wilson.
As a Democrat, 95% of the time. Would not refer to her as a Democrat. Do you think that's on purpose? You better damn well believe that's on purpose. Why would they not want to associate her as being a Democrat? Think about that.
Yeah.
That's not it. How about this? TV news also failed to identify New York Attorney General Letitia James, who is all bent out of shape over Donald Trump, all pissed off that Donald Trump made another $1 billion this week with media shares. 93% of the time, all media refused to identify her as a Democrat. Why? Why? There's got to be something more to that. There has to be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Let's look at another DA who went after Donald Trump, another African-American, hardcore liberal, left-leaning, Soros-funded DA with trumped-up charges against Donald. TV News failed to identify Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as a Democrat 90% of the time. You see what's going on? We give you facts, we give you numbers, and then we let you feel how you want to feel after we give you the facts and the hardcore numbers. That's what this show does. That's why we try to separate ourselves from others in regards to bringing you the information you need, the information you can use.
That's right.
And formulate opinions that you can use in your life to actually make educated decisions, not only for yourself, but your kids and your entire family. Yes. It's sickening. And I've been screaming this from the rooftops, even when I was in media of that kind, because I saw it every day. Oh my God, it just wouldn't stop. It's like, hello, what's going on?
We can no more just not talk about religion and politics to our children and tell our children not to talk about religion and politics and facts always over your feelings. Of course, God gave us our feelings, but we have to control those feelings based upon the facts that we're presented with. And people don't like facts these days. They don't like facts because if it is not exactly what they think, and we've talked about it all the way around. We see that that's why right now the Republican Party is kind of a shit show, because their feelings about someone else. When we played the situation yesterday that involved, our Secretary of State and somebody running from Secretary of State, their feelings get in the way and then they start to look dumb. And that's why I was really glad that you were talking today about Laura Trump, that is showing the facts about what we're going to do about our elections instead of the feelings about everything. And that's the thing. We're going to lose these elections if we can't even get our elected officials to talk about the facts of the situation and not how they feel about it, and not like someone else at the Lincoln Day or someone else at some other political event didn't hurt their feelings. They can't get out of their own way.
Well, it's the same thing with Donald Trump.
That's exactly right.
He talks real. He talks to you. He gets very direct. And people need to hear those sorts of things.
Right.
Another situation, and of course, we already see the media coverage that's being thrown against him. And we see the media coverage of how only one side from a national standpoint is shown. We show you all the video. They're not showing you all the people showing up in New York everywhere, which we showed you at the start of the show. In addition to that, when you look at what's going on, the kind of messaging, actual policy messaging, not this DEI, we're playing to your heart, social issue type of deal that really doesn't affect how we operate everyday life.
Right.
Donald Trump is killing it, and he continues to kill it. How about the messaging here as well? First of all, Donald Trump calling out Columbia University, calling out NYU, calling out how Jewish students, you don't have to like a Jewish student. You don't have to agree, but you got to let them go to class.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, that's
it's their right to go to class.
I mean, and just think of this. Donald Trump also posted this yesterday. This is what's happening. And this is kind of news that you want to hear, but the rest of the country wants to show you, oh, salacious details, this, Stormy Daniels, blah, blah, blah. When we already know it, nothing happened. And there's proof that it didn't happen because she wrote a letter stating that it didn't happen. How about this? At Real Donald Trump yesterday. The dollar has just hit a 34-year high against the yen. He says it's a total disaster against the United States. He says, when I was president, I spent a good deal of time telling Japan and China, in particular, you can't do that. He says, now it sounds good to stupid people. He's direct. But this is a disaster, what's happening because of this.
Yes.
It's a disaster for manufacturers. He's like, because they're actually unable to compete and are going to be forced to either lose lots of business or build plants or whatever in these smart countries. That is what made Japan and China behemoths years ago. Trump says, though, but I came in and I put limits on it. I said, if they start to violate my limits, there's going to be hell to pay. He said, Biden, let it go. Watch them now pick apart the U.S. It's going to be an open field day. Don't let this happen, Crooked Joe. Wake up and smell the coffee. These are the messages that need to be put out. They're not the messages that are being sent out. That's what's a freaking big time concern. Let's talk policy. Let's not talk about feelings. Let's talk policy. Let's not talk about DEI issues. Let's talk policy. Let's not talk about these situations when it comes to, we want to talk about social issues. Damn, what the hell is going on? These are the problems that we continue to talk about. We continue to show. Thank God Trump is doing this, but national media won't show you this sort of campaigning.
Right.
That's how Donald Trump is campaigning. And it's up to all of us to get that message out.
That's right.
We do it here with Cancel This. You guys can share our information. You guys can share wherever you are as well from the same point in time.
That's right. We have to get that messaging out right now because he's not campaigning in the normal way, but it is working. And I like that even though he's under a gag order, he sits in that tunnel area where it's not really good audio at all, but at least we can hear what he's saying. Literally, when you think about a human being going through what he's going through, and he still takes the time to call out what's going on with these colleges. And then you don't hear many of our other legislators even dealing with it whatsoever. And I know that some people don't care because their kids aren't in college. But the fact is, people are losing their freedom, that you can't even send your child to school these days without these Antifa, BLM kind of crazy people infiltrating the college campuses.
You know, they even went to Schumer's house yesterday.
Yes, they did go to Schumer's house.
You're hundreds of people showed up at Schumer's home.
Yes.
And we saw what they did. It only takes one person to Alec Baldwin. Can't stand the guy for how he acts, but he held and showed restraint.
He sure did.
One followed him
for a
around
long
forever,
time,
yelling at him and do what I say, and then I'll leave you alone, but I won't leave you alone unless you do what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's the irony of all of that is these pro-Palestinians who really are left-wing whack jobs, they're now showing up at Chuck Schumer's house. And I don't know if anybody saw the video of there was people on an airplane with Eric Adams yesterday or the day before. And they're like doing their whole pro-Palestinian crap to them too. So it's like, the one good thing about any of this is they're not just browbeating the Republicans this time. These Antifa types are browbeating the left right now because the left is in charge of these areas.
Robert says, by the way, more and more American companies are buying China, India, Brazil products and selling them right here under their own brands. Yeah, it's happening. And I've heard other people talk about that. And we had Robert explain how the supply industry in Detroit's working when it comes to the automobile industry. It's terrible. And the only politician from a national standpoint that seems to want to talk about it is Donald Trump.
That's right.
When you look at the campaign issues that Joe Biden talks about, there aren't any. Right. And by the way, Donald Trump's going to, not only with this trial that's going on, the fake clown trial, tomorrow, the U.S. Supreme Court is going to determine whether he's going to get any sort of immunity. That is before the U.S. Supreme Court tomorrow. And it's interesting because, the Supreme Court hasn't really been, I mean, 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 the Supreme Court hasn't really I'm sorry, Democrats and liberals may disagree, but they really have not been a Supreme Court that has gone hardcore to the right. They just haven't.
No, they haven't. They have not.
You can screw off if you're going to, well, look at Roe v. Wade. No, they allowed states to decide.
Correct.
They have not been hardcore to the right.
They have not.
If it was a liberal court 6-3, my God, how this country would have changed already, and not for the better.
That's right.
So I'll be curious to see, because they haven't gone way far right or way far left, in my humble opinion, in much of anything.
I think that's a good Supreme Court that they don't do that. Because I am more of a far right conservative. I don't agree with a lot of it, but they're doing what the law states, whether I like it or not. And there's so many people going on the pro-life issue that are so aggravated that abortion is not banned federally. But the Supreme Court, and even our own, what I consider our president, Donald Trump, wants it to stay to the states. That's what our forefathers wanted. And so we need to leave it that way. And I don't want to have an abortion. I don't want anybody that I know to have an abortion, but leaving it at the states, it's good for a couple reasons. It's what our forefathers left us to say. But on top of that, more than anything else, if we try to do anything more with abortion, you galvanize the Democrat base, because that's really all they have. All they have is abortion to them. They love killing their children, and it galvanizes their base.
It should be stopped. Don't even push it. And Donald Trump,
stop pushing it. Stop it.
It's up to the states. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Let it be.
But that's where a lot of our conservatives are still pushing it, even at the local level. They're pushing it in the state of Missouri. If you're in the state of Missouri, it's already banned here. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, from the public platforms, of course, the People's platform. We appreciate you guys jumping in with your comments. Wherever you're from, whatever your thoughts are, you are welcome. I'm curious from the standpoint of where you guys go from there. Bendy says, where are the true constitutionalists? Chris says, with Roberts as Chief Justice, it will never go far right, even with the majority, because he's a squishy conservative. Yeah, we've talked about pictures
about these squishy
Roberts
conservatives
hanging out with Bill Clinton in the past, even at Epstein Island. I don't want to go overboard, but it makes you wonder some of the things that have gone on. It was all based on a lie, according to Roland. I'm not exactly sure what he is referring to.
Well, and it's in the word squishy you used. It was interesting when Megan and I were doing the show last week, when you're out one of the days, that is literally what Will Scharf, who's running for AG against Andrew Bailey, is that what he literally called these Republicans nationally, is they're just squishy. That's like a perfect word.
And Will Scharf, by the way, not only running for Attorney General in the state of Missouri, but he's a part of Trump's legal team regarding the hush money. And I hate saying it, hush money case, but most people
fake
heard of
hush money.
The clown show.
The clown show.
That's happening. So Will Scharf on the Trump legal team regarding that whole case that's going on. We already talked about the RNC being better, but there are squishy conservatives, and that's what can happen when it comes to what's happening with the United States dollar. What Donald Trump put out yesterday, when we're actually talking about policy issues, not social issues. Many of the business people jumped in and started talking and trying to get to all of those comments right now. I'm trying to go back. Lizzie, if you see what Robert was saying about the dying cast industry when it comes to what China and other countries are doing to us right here. Robert says the dye and mold industries are buying China for 50% discount. Okay, we're effed.
Yeah.
They rework them here for 20%. They reap a 20% savings over American steel and American labor. That shit was not happening when Donald Trump was in charge. That's why they hated him. Oh, Donald Trump no, he wasn't friends with the Chinese. The checks that were coming in were for Hunter. They were coming in for Joe and his brother.
That's exactly right.
Same thing with Ukraine. That's a major issue. And then people wonder why America is where we are.
Right.
We're fading and we're living on the fumes of what we once had. We had a full tank of gas. The lawnmower is running, but it's on its last fumes.
Yeah, it is.
That's how I see it.
That's how I see it too. That's a great analogy, Vic, because the motor's still running. The United States is still running better than a lot of areas, but we're running out of gas. We really are.
And it's the thing that frustrates people. We try to bring and show you the facts over the feelings and the stories and the evidence, is the fact that all of it's changeable.
It is all changeable. That's where hope comes in.
And that's what we do.
Yes.
We're not all death, destruction, F everything that's going on. There is hope, but the problem lies in the fact of having the right man in office. And can one man literally affect a lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's only 4 years. And we saw what happened in 4 years, but you compare it to what we have now, and then you compare the media coverage. And of course, if Donald Trump ever ascended to the high office again, it's going to be what you see now.
It's going to be
from national media,
it's going to
from
be
politicians. It'll be
not
better
with
for
the
him.
media, but right, better.
They're going to attack. He knows this is not stopping.
No, it's
and
not
we said it from the get-go when the polling started to show that, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Boom. Here comes everything. Here comes the trumped up charges. Here comes the indictments.
Mhm.
Here comes the negative media coverage. Here comes every possible thing that we can get on this man.
That's right.
We're going to do. Jack Smith enters the picture. We're going to make sure he can't run for office. Oh, he can run for office now. Now we're going to make sure that he has no money and he can't campaign.
Mhm.
Oh, it still looks like he's going in the polls. Okay, now we're going to see about paying off Republican politicians who are in Congress to get them to all of a sudden quit. That's right, quit before the election to put the Republicans in a bad state of affairs, so that we can win the House and we can win the Senate, just in case if there's an election and our cheating doesn't come across and Donald Trump somehow wins. Now he's going to have to deal with a liberal-led Senate and House.
Yeah, that's
all
gonna
of
be
these
really
things.
hard.
All of these things are coming into play. And that's why we try to make it as real for you as possible, explaining what's going on, because it's not stopping and it's not going to stop.
It's not going to stop. The only good thing about it this time around is Donald Trump knows where the bodies are buried. He knows who the enemy is. He knows the swamp is way bigger than he ever thought that it was. All of us now are so used to the media being so bad. It's not going to be a big deal anytime. They're not good now. The vitriol that they spew against him is just going to be the same. So if he does get back in, and I pray that he does, and we all know that he will win in a landslide unless there's cheating, we're going to do great.
Well, just think about this too, as we talk about when it comes to manufacturing, when it comes to the dollar, when it comes to serious issues, because every American, when they get up, I don't care what kind of politician is running, they know.
They know.
How are you doing financially? Are you better than you were 4 years ago? The left know that they can't win on policy, and everybody that has half a brain knows this. But when Donald Trump comes out and tries to campaign, at least from @real Donald Trump, explaining what's happening with our dollar compared to the yen, when it comes to China, when it comes to Japan, manufacturing companies know, small business knows. John even says USA investment in manufacturing needs to be greatly increased, especially in the tech products that we need, like LED lighting. That's another thing that we hadn't heard before when it came to the LED lighting. Drill, baby, drill. All of these things can't get lost. What the media messaging is trying to do is get you lost in the shuffle. Think about all these other issues, not about what's going to really make us better. Bottom line, we showed you the stats yesterday when it came to inflation, when it came to groceries, when it came to the price of electric, when it came to the price of your groceries, everything at least 20% higher in this term than when Donald Trump was this far in his term. All of these things that we talk about, they all coincide. They all come together, and it makes you wonder what the hell is going on. And then we wonder, okay, why is there such a hardcore situation going after Donald Trump? Well, we all know, because of the White House. And we showed you, and we started the show off today. We laugh about what happens with Joe Biden. We like it when he campaigns because he screws up and he lies. And we'll show it. And, some Fox News will show it sometimes. Newsmax will show it. OAN will show it. But your national outlets aren't showing it.
No, of course.
Other podcasts that we think do a pretty good job will show
showing it.
They'll get it out there.
But your local news won't show it. Not at all. Because if you turn on the local news, and I rarely do it, but I do it every now and again just to see what crap they're throwing at it, they don't talk about anything that is truthful when it comes to Joe Biden at all. Not at all.
This is canceltheshow.com, by the way. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And of course, all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. We continue to separate facts from feelings, making sure you have all the information that you need. Very interesting. Two super popular U.S. senators are Josh Hawley, who's done an amazing job, and Eric Schmidt, who has followed suit from the state of Missouri and done suit. We already knew that the Senate was going to pass the new, what I like to refer to as the Ukraine bill, without any funding for our border, of course. But at least Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt were two of the senators that voted no. We knew that was going to happen. And too bad we don't have the power in the Senate. And, we see where it goes. But they voted no against that whole situation. Thank you to our U.S. senators from the state of Missouri.
Very proud
at least trying to have the
Missouri,
back.
yes. That's right.
And then when it comes to the immunity, what I wanted to get to, the United States Supreme Court is going to rule on this immunity tomorrow. Or I don't know if they'll do it. They'll take some days. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. But the point that I was trying to make with that whole situation before we got sidetracked just a little bit is I do think he's going to get some immunity. Because when you look at the Supreme Court, you can't go all one way and say, in my humble opinion, that a former president gets total immunity.
Right.
Am I mistaken in thinking that? And tell me why. Because could you imagine Barack Obama? Well, he does have full immunity.
Yeah, I was just going to say he has
Joe Biden,
full immunity.
A president looking at it from a down the middle view, getting full immunity for anything, or not getting immunity for anything.
Right.
It's got to be somewhere in the middle. Right?
I agree. I think it should be somewhere in the middle. I don't know that it will be somewhere in the middle because we're living.
I think he's going to get some immunity, but I don't know how I don't know how it's going to affect his cases.
Yeah. Well, do you think he's going to get any jail time? People are asking.
Well, we've had people bring that up. I don't know, and I don't know if it matters. If they can possibly give Donald Trump jail time, they'll give him jail time.
That is their goal.
Because this whole trial started to find him guilty. And this isn't a real trial. They're going to find him guilty.
They are.
They're not going to take that public hit with thousands of people showing up in Harlem, which, by the way, who would ever have thought that Harlem would become Donald Trump country? I love it.
I know. I love it.
And now we're seeing numbers of African Americans in excess of 25% maybe voting for Joe Biden. I mean, for Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It would be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It would be amazingly beautiful if those things can happen. So we wanted to come out from the political standpoint with there. I may save Chanel for tomorrow, Joe. I may, because I wanted to get to that one video. I did want to get into something too. Little less political, but it's big where we are, and it's around the country as well. And it kind of goes into the money issue with manufacturing and what's happening. The St. Louis Cardinals ownership group is asking for $500 million.
They are.
Of public funds to upgrade their ballpark venues.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have seen this happen all over the country. I don't care where you are. After these owners, and the owners are billionaires of these teams, they're billionaires with a B, and they're making a whole lot of money, paying out a whole lot of money to ball players. How would you vote on this? They want to ask the public for money so that they can do this.
And what are they exactly wanting to do? Like
upgrades.
Upgrade to the stadium,
upgrades,
right?
To make sure that the stadium is up to speed where it needs to be.
Can we do that? Can we get funding from the public?
Yeah.
You can ask for anything to get it on a ballot.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not for that at all. I am definitely somebody that I surprise people in the fact that I do vote yes in taxes for like parks. I think your neighborhood is only as good as like the parks and that sort of thing. And of course, they are police officer and our safety. But you know what? Right now, St. Louis City doesn't deserve any more money from taxpayers. They don't.
Well, he's making his pitch to the city right now.
Yeah. Well, you know
Bill
what?
DeWitt the third.
Well, of course he is. And who knows what the mayor there is going to say. You know, she is so left and so much loves the government money that she might say yes. But if I lived in the city.
Will it increase money for the city? I say don't do this bullshit. They're nowhere. That stadium, I've been there. That stadium is still viable.
It's beautiful. Why do we
and
need
the
any more money
venues
for
and
it?
the venues, in my humble opinion,
yes,
are beautiful.
I agree.
However, I wonder specifically what $500 million of public funds would go to.
Right. And are they asking for the whole state for that money or just St. Louis City?
No, I think it would be St. Louis City.
Okay.
It'd be the pitch to the city of St. Louis. Is basic. And what DeWitt said, quote, I think it would be in everybody's interest for the Cardinals to be downtown indefinitely. And that's certainly our goal. But we also need to make sure our facility is viable.
See, I mean, I agree
there's a
that it
lot
needs
to
be
unpack in that
downtown.
quote.
I do. I agree that it still needs to be downtown because there's a lot of crime when all those people show up. So most people don't want it out in the county. And I do think that our cities need to have the big ballparks and all of that. But I'm with you, Vic. It's already viable. It's nice. I mean, I haven't been there this year so far.
$500 million.
No way. No way. It's already really
Public
nice.
funding.
And think about how much money does it cost to get a hot dog there? $1 million and a beer's $47.50. I mean, come on.
Mitch says our city has went up on our property tax 3 straight years.
Of course it has.
In St. Louis City.
Of course it has. And their taxes are already very high.
Maybe public money for more security, but not the facility itself.
I could get on board for more security.
Also, Jeannie says Kansas City just failed asking taxpayers for millions of dollars for
they
a new
sure
stadium
did. Good
as
point,
well.
Jeannie.
Times may have changed, and that's why I thought it was such an interesting topic. And I don't care where you live in America. Owners, billionaires asking for public funds. Now, if you break down the comment, he's leaving it open. Well, you know, we want to stay here, but hey,
I don't know.
We would have to leave and go somewhere else if we can't get the money here.
He's just threatening.
Cronky,
just stop it.
Cronky.
The St. Charles Cardinals?
Yeah, the St. Charles Cardinals. St. Charles Cardinals.
Robert with the quote of the day, ask Ukraine for a loan.
Good point, Robert.
They have billions of dollars. The Zelenskys are buying homes all over the world with big diamonds and partying everywhere.
Yeah. And Roland's saying they want something else. There's something else hidden inside. And you know that's true too. We don't know what it is, but there's something hidden. And you know, I don't know if this is the right time for DeWitt or any Cardinal management to be asking anything of anyone.
And the Cardinals are big all across the Midwest,
Cardinals
not just in the state of Missouri.
They're great. But you know what? We're getting subpar results right now. So
even if the Cardinals won yesterday 14-1 instead of losing 14-1, I don't care if they were in first place. I still say no. However, you can break down what the Cardinals' value is to St. Louis City, but can you imagine if the Cardinals weren't in St. Louis City?
There would be nothing left to go there for.
Well, you got soccer and blues.
Well, but you know what? Okay. I agree. Soccer is great for some people, and hockey, I just love it. But you know what? Those two are not St. Louis.
I don't think this would pass. I don't think it would pass. And that's why I thought it was a big deal. I think I see the writing and is security and how bad St. Louis City is when it comes to downtown, when it comes to crime.
That's right.
Are they setting the table? Like, we're either going to get the big home run and get money here for ourselves or else we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I could see that that's what they're saying because the crime is so bad. I mean, think about how many cars are broken into when they just go to a Cardinal game or a Blues or a St. Louis soccer game. People are getting so fed up with the crime in St. Louis. But I still say no more taxes. Really, the government shouldn't have any increase in anything. Not even schools right now, not even the public schools, not the Cardinals, not anybody should be asking all of the people, we the people, for any more money when they mismanage it so much. No, thank you.
And I'll just wait to see if it has anything to do with being downtown and not seeing that you're getting, and I'm just going to tell you, in many of these inner cities, businesses don't want to be there.
They don't.
Because of how business is being run.
That's right.
It's because of that left liberal blue city mentality, DEI, didn't earn it mentality. Oh, we want to talk about social issues, reimagining policing. And it's like, wait a second, we're trying to have viable businesses. We're trying to bring businesses in, and it doesn't work. I'm wondering if that's where the Cardinals are from that standpoint. And this also comes on the heels of the Oracle CEO announcing that they're going to move their headquarters from the West Coast to Nashville.
Not surprising.
They're moving to Red State, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
And they're not the first. We saw what Elon was doing. And then, of course, moving back. But it's one of those situations you don't want to have to deal with the crap that's going on.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison's a super smart dude. And he's not going to stay on the West Coast and all of that crap that they have, especially in Northern California.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Well,
I just found it fascinating to see where Cardinal Nation will go from that standpoint.
I didn't even think about that till you said it.
I just thought it was pretty disingenuous for the owners to ask for a billionaire owner to ask for $500 million of public funding.
I think it's very disingenuous.
Unless it was explained to me in some other way that I could possibly see how that happened. Chris Steiner says, guys, City SC paid for their own stadium. Of course, they own Enterprise. Just to remind everybody, their Enterprise has a lot of money. They paid for the stadium themselves. Quite less money to pay for a soccer stadium than baseball.
True.
and the Cardinals make way more money than City SC does. They can raise their own money.
They can raise their own money, and they do need to. They need to take the money that's already been given there by Kroenke to increase patrolling of police officers. Bindy's saying on the chat line that her neighbor goes and cleans the parking garages after games and events, and he hears gunshots.
Well, of course he does.
Long. So, I mean, and that's what DeWitt is going to play on the heartstrings is like, if you don't do this, we're going to have to leave because the crime is so bad. DeWitt and all of his people, they have enough money to do this themselves. Stop pimping out the taxpayers. Stop it. And they want people to revitalize and move back into St. Louis City, and you're going to tax these people to death. Stop it. I mean, I think it would be voted down. And when Jeannie said, I had forgotten about that, Jeannie had mentioned that they tried to do that in Kansas City and it got shot down. So I hope people in St. Louis shoot it down too.
Yeah, I'd like the Kansas City Chiefs. They won an $860 million stadium or they're going to move. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing they did here in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Robert was giving us an example from Detroit. I just lost it for a second. If you see it before me, Lizzie, please read it. When it comes to what they were doing in Detroit from the standpoint, he says in Detroit, both the Pistons and Red Wings venues didn't last 30 years. Mm-hmm. Both the Palace and Silverdome were demolished, but they also moved to downtown Detroit, Robert, and were part of the regeneration and revitalization. Now, Is it great there? Is it amazing? No. Is it perfect? No, but it certainly beats the hell out of many other blue-led cities when it comes to a redevelopment, because in 2008, it was absolutely horrible there, and Detroit has recovered somewhat. And I think you would even in all your negativity, and I love you, I think you'd have to agree with that. At least they moved downtown to try to be part of something new. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, I loved it when it was out there in the suburbs.
Well, and if I really thought, okay, so say we got this money, let's just play the devil's advocate, and we get all this money in St. Louis City.
Well, 500 taxpayer funded, 500 million for upgrade.
Pretend we got that. Chicago also has a lot of crime, but they have a great waterfront area and better places to walk. If they did all that money and it was one time and they'd never ask us again, and our downtown, we could use the riverfront and it would be beautiful, and we could bring the Admiral back and we could walk around a famous bar and all of that without, getting
famous
shot.
Bar.
Yeah, that's aging me, but that's the truth. Famous Bar's not down there anymore. Venture and have all that. Okay, people might be, that's going to be great, but that's not what they're going to do. That money is so much money. They're not going to make this a better place to go. I mean, just think last night, and I'm going to be very careful how I say this word. Washington Avenue was down there. It was all kinds of businesses last night got broken into again. New business, one business.
Surprise.
Yeah. So they were broken into last night. And then they're going to ask the taxpayers for more money.
But there are hopes when you get serious about the city, any city. And Robert he's like, by the way, Detroit is on the way back. And I try to remind people of that. Mm-hmm. Detroit blows St. Louis out of the water, and people, I've been back 8 years. And from the moment I came back, I went, and I'm talking 8 years ago when St. Louis was a much better place. Mm-hmm. I'm walking around going, my God, the city sucks.
Right.
I mean, and it was funny because people in Detroit literally said, we're sorry that you have to move back to St. Louis.
Right.
And then I come here and people in St. Louis are clueless. They're like, well, isn't Detroit the worst? I was like at one point, but they got serious about their politics. They got serious about their business, and they got serious about attacking crime, paid their police chief a ton of money to come in from Beverly Hills, California, gave him a little bit of power to get things done, and they got things done. And they didn't have the bullshit racism, and they didn't deal with all the social issues that left-leaning politicians try to push to get money.
Yeah.
And everybody was mostly united, and it's on the way back.
Yeah.
And if you go there and you walk around, you'll be like, okay, I get what Vic's saying now. Freaking A. Go figure. Detroit blows St. Louis out of the water.
Well, but you know what?
And people don't want to hear it, but it's the truth.
But you know what? Our very own Eric Johnson is on the chat line, and he has a great idea that if he had all that money and to develop the river, he'd do it from East St. Louis instead, because the view from over there is better. Think about that. I mean, think about, you could bulldoze East St. Louis and really create a great area for that kind of money.
Yeah, you could. I'm all about the Metro East.
Me too. You just bulldoze that right on.
Born and raised, baby.
And then maybe Platinum Rock Legends would play on the east side.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
I can already see him on the banks of the Mississippi on the east side, overlooking the arch. Eric Johnson on his bass and his wig and his makeup and his tights and his high heels. Baby.
You betcha.
That's America.
That's America right there.
That's America from the 80s.
Oh my gosh, that gives me so much hope. Even thinking that.
Do you have chills now?
I do have chills. That would be just so exciting.
Yeah, we eat in Soulard or elsewhere before the games, but even now that's getting expensive too. Well, that's part of the inflation.
That is
as well. We broke those stats down for you yesterday as well.
We sure did.
I mean, seriously, think about that. I went, oh, when I read that story about DeWitt. We want $500 million of taxpayer money to improve the stadium. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But it is interesting. I couldn't imagine the Cardinals ever leaving. And you bring up Eric Johnson, who comes in with us on Fridays. He's like, oh, I could see him leaving, Vic.
Yeah.
So if that would be the case, I mean, I'd have to give Eric
you
kudos
wouldn't
on that
think
one.
They'd leave, but they will leave. If it boils down to power and money and all that, and they could threaten St. Louis, they'd leave. You wouldn't think that, but they could.
Here's another situation. I don't know where you're listening from in the country. Obviously, listeners all over the place, but I find this interesting, especially when it comes to St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago, wherever you are. The example in Detroit is this: 44,000 blighted homes in Detroit gone. They took care of it. Gone. Same with many dilapidated business sites. Gone. Victory Gardens, solar farms all over the city now. Leadership is the answer. Leadership's the answer anywhere. And we got into this because of Donald Trump and how he is treated when he's bringing in business ideas for manufacturing, for production, for the bottom line, when it comes to actually having a presence, understanding how business works, understanding how to take care of world issues. Because when the cat's away, the mice will play. And that's what's happened for 3.5 years. You break it down to the local level in cities. Of course, I know we're touching upon several topics. All mostly liberal-led blue cities, same kind of leadership, same kind of ideas, boring, outdated, not going to be in a progressive manner of doing things the right way. Safety, security, a part of bringing business in. And what do you know? Detroit comes on a comeback. St. Louis dead in the water.
Yeah, and it
looks at leadership.
Yep, the St. Louis here sucks. It just does.
and it can be changed. But it all starts with the leadership, and it starts with the mayors. And then it'll be interesting to see, because St. Louis City is now being put, and we only find out what we're supposed to find out. Donald Trump tells us about that when it comes to the national level, when it comes to the deep state. For people who want to get into the global conversations, that's fine as well. But even on the local level, you're only told some of what's going on. And I found that out through 25 years of local news.
Yeah.
They tell us officially, you hear it officially, but there's all kinds of conversations that are going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, how advanced is this conversation about the Cardinals actually coming to the table asking for $500 million from taxpayers throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area? Really? That would have about a 10% approval rating. Maybe. Maybe. And then they're saying, well, we want to be viable and stay here forever. But basically saying, if we don't get that money, we may have to look at other options. Now, I understand bargaining, and I understand when it comes to negotiating, but come on.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Trying to put that in front of people saying that.
It really is, especially with our economy being so bad, and with inflation, and buying a hot dog is so expensive. I mean, this is not the time to be asking.
Yeah, and I didn't know how long we'd stay on the topic, because we do news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education, political interviews from all over the country. Staying away from the political interviews and any interviews this week as we remodel our set. By the way, we appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the words if you say it sucks. We're just
we can handle it either way.
Yeah, this is cancel this, give your opinion. We go with it. But that's what we do. And of course, our Fridays, our free-for-all Fridays with comedy, conspiracy theory.
We're going to really need it this Friday.
And paranormal. And of course, our chat is second to none. We appreciate everybody jumping in for 2 hours. This is the People's Podcast, the fastest 2 hours of podcasting, as we refer to it, every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. I just love it when you hear people, Detroit pride is real. Kansas City said, hell no. And you're talking about the world champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they said no. And then the Cardinals, I know people, the Cardinals they're not good. The organization is not good. They haven't won anything serious since 2011. I mean, we're going on almost 15 years now. I mean, and the Chiefs community said, hell no. Pound sand. We don't want any of that here. But of course, it starts with the leadership and what we see going on. which ties into all these other topics, doesn't it?
It all
Of
ties
everything
together.
that we get into, that we talk about, that we try to push out there, especially when it comes to local media, when it comes to national media, the stories that we're trying to bring out to everybody. We're just grateful that you guys come in and join us. You give us the opinions that you have on a daily basis as well. You know, because we appreciate when you share the show. You come here. You can catch us on X. You catch us on Rumble, on Facebook, on YouTube, Clout Hub. And then, of course, about 20 minutes after the show or so, we're loaded up on all of your usual listening sites. Of course, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other ones. I just can't remember all of that right now.
Yeah, we have like 4 more.
So I think that there would be no way in hell $500 million would be approved
I hope
in
not.
the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, they don't
No
deserve
way.
it. They don't.
Now, there's just so many other things that are happening. No freaking way. I think that would be dead on arrival in any situation possible when it comes to what's going on. Also, I wanted to remind people. Oh, and hold on a second. I was checking out. Yeah, let's see. We were talking about. Damn. Okay, well, we'll put this up tomorrow. We're going to show you a really good video from Chanel Rion of AON tomorrow, good friend of the show, when it comes to who's actually running the country, who's doing what's happening in the White House.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
The attacks on Donald Trump. And of course, we've already, you won't want to miss that, just from a real broken down study. The name has been pushed out there before, but she breaks it down from a standpoint of why you have what's happening. Why Donald Trump is being treated the way he is, why conservatives in certain situations when it comes to law are being treated the way that they are. But there is hope.
There is hope.
There's hope. And the reason I say that there's hope, Google, of all people, Lizzie, and we talk about the cancel culture education being alive and well, but also being eliminated in certain situations as well. And yet you don't be a dick, be kind, be polite to people. You don't have to yell in somebody's face. You don't have to do any of that stuff unprovoked. Give an account of yourself for everything that's going on. But at the same point in time, it's also interesting to understand that Google, of all people, companies, fired almost 30 employees because they were making people feel unsafe in their work environment regarding the situation when it came to their pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, pro-Palestinian views. Google this week fired almost 30 employees.
Wow, that's good.
Because
stuff.
others in the workplace couldn't get their work done. So don't think for a second there isn't hope. You have to speak up in a polite manner, but be persistent. It's all right to ruffle some feathers. Polite, but be persistent. I mean, you see Donald Trump, he's not being a dick. He's out there giving facts, evidence, truth, not worried about feelings, facts when it comes to situations that could help our country. So be bold, but you don't have to be overboard.
Right. Being overboard really loses your messaging. So you might have some really great things to say about the direction of our country and cancel culture or what you believe in, but you have to do it in a manner that people will listen to you. Once you just go ballistic, you lost. I mean, you lose. If you get too mad or too loud or too crazy, people stop listening to you.
Donna says, trying for a new basketball arena in Chinatown in Philly, being protested by residents and business owners there. I don't think it will happen for the Sixers. Well, it's interesting because
that is interesting.
There's so much money being talked about, being thrown around, how much it costs.
Yeah.
People feel the crunch. They do. Okay. Now, there are people who are extremely wealthy, but even I talk to people who are wealthy and they feel it.
They feel it too, because they see.
Or they're looking down the line and somebody else may look at them and go, my God, you have so much money, but it's what you're used to.
That's right. And you see that your bank account doesn't have as much money in it, or your stocks are not doing as good and you're losing money. It affects you no matter how much money.
Concerned with the crypto industry right now.
Yep.
And where it's going to be, where we should be investing, and what we're going to do. And those are, stories and things that we cover and we try to talk about here. And of course, we're always open to all opinions. That's what we say. Let us know how you're feeling. Jump on the chat line.
That's right.
If you want to jump in on live and do a live interview with us, we'll do you that. We'll send you the link.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Let us know what's going on. When it comes to what's been happening in New York, when it comes to the anti-Semitism, and that's what it is. It's flat out bullying. It's assault on Jewish students. It's assault on anybody who's trying to protect the Jewish students. At least Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, who definitely needs to sturdy up his position after voting for the funding bill for Taiwan, for Israel. And of course, the big problem with all of that is Ukraine, the endless amounts of money that are going there. And of course, we know Ukraine's not going to win any war anytime soon, if ever. But at least Speaker Johnson's coming out against the Ivy League president for not sticking up or saying more when it comes to protecting Jewish students even getting to and from their class. Of course, Joe Biden hasn't said anything. I mean, he was out messing up yesterday, talking about how he sees FJB signs looking for sentimental votes, talking about how he was a former tractor trailer driver, an 18-wheeler, which was another lie. And he hasn't even addressed the situation with Columbia or NYU. But at least Speaker Johnson is doing that right now. So congrats for him for at least trying. He called Biden a weak leader, which is good.
Yeah, that is good. Because maybe
he's
that's
worried
why
about
Trump
votes.
likes him. That's right.
I don't know.
Could be.
I mean, it's a problem. And one way to end the show with today, and I love this because this is what we talk about. We're not trying to rip younger generations or millennials or Gen Z or anything else, but it is interesting. Tom Brady, arguably the most popular athlete, one of the most popular athletes of all time, at least in America, said that his biggest problem with the younger generation, it's all about them.
That is so true.
The me disease. And we talk about that on this show as well.
The me disease.
He says it's how kids are brought up these days to only worry about their brand and their social media when it comes to sports or business. It's all about them. The me disease again. What am I going to get out of this? What am I? And it's not the greater good. And does it make you think about how this country has gone the direction that it's gone as well?
Absolutely. The selfishness of younger generations is very
And
obvious.
is it just younger generations?
Well, those younger generations grow up and all of a sudden they're 50, 60, 70 years old and they're still selfish. So even though we're blaming it on the younger generation, they do grow up, and we're having a whole bunch of people that is right here in the Gen X that they don't even think beyond themselves. And a lot of those are Democrats who don't think the country is in peril. They don't. And they just think about themselves, but they don't see the broader picture. So it's a real problem. The me disease, as you call it.
Yeah, the me disease. And the me disease, I learned it from Pat Riley, one of the best NBA basketball coaches of all time. The biggest threat to an organization,
yes,
a city, a sports team, to your community is the me disease.
100%.
I deserve this. I deserve that. You know what it is? It's the didn't earn it mentality.
Didn't earn it mentality. That is, I mean, you see that in kids' sports.
The entitlement that we see with politics.
Yes.
With politicians and sports, as you talk about as well.
Yeah. Parents are blinded by their kids' inability to kick a ball or to, set a volleyball or to do something in football. They just think, but they're not even really thinking of their kid. They're thinking of themselves, their own ego, that their kid has to be so great. And so these kids that are so selfish end up even on a sports team, and the team does bad because the bad kid is the one that's causing a fit on the team. There's something called sports psychology. There's so many things that are going on today that any workplace, if you cannot work as a team, it will not succeed.
And this gets into the cancel culture education as well. I saw it in the newsroom. So many people refusing to cover all sides of a story, which is what we do here. And of course, we welcome liberals. We welcome independents. We welcome whatever the hell you are. Give us your opinion. Come on in. We interview everybody. We have had them here. Just because we disagree does not mean we can't have the conversation.
We want to have the conversation.
We want to talk religion. We want to talk politics.
Yes.
We want to talk about why you feel the way that you do and why are what has happened to you in your life to make you feel the way that you do. Because all we have seen when it comes to New York and the protest are animals, rabid animals with no self-respect or discipline, all about hate mongering, all about bullying, all about assaulting and committing crimes to get what you want. And I'm sorry, it still starts with parenting, and it's tough to be parents. It is. And I still feel as if younger generations have it more difficult now than ever before.
I think so too.
Which is why parents have it more difficult than ever before, which is why parents need to take it even more serious than they ever have before.
That's right. You have to intentionally parent your kids these days. You can't go on autopilot. There's too many things hitting our kids these days.
And we continue to bring those things up, those issues, those stories. That's what we're trying to focus on. The unfortunate thing is there's so damn many.
There are so many. There
are so many damn issues that are going on.
There is.
And we try to cover it and try to bring it to the light of day. But what?
Well, in the kids, and we don't have to talk about this long. I didn't even know this was going on. And at Christmas time, all of my friends' kids were going on and on. They're more preoccupied with what kind of cup they're drinking out of, this whole Stanley Cup craze. And if the kids don't have it, they're made fun of in schools. And now kids are getting their heads whacked off with their Stanley Cups.
Yeah, and we have video. Can you explain the story of what happened?
I can. There's a student that she is so terrorized right now at her school because right in front of her face, she saw a supposed 13-year-old girl who had been kicked out of another school. This happened in Pennsylvania in a middle school. And a 12-year-old, somebody came in, and it's a 13-year-old, and they said it was a girl, took a Stanley Cup. And if anybody of you guys have ever seen them, they're really heavy. And so somebody picked up a cup and just whacked another girl's head with the cup, and blood is everywhere. And there was a little girl, we have a video talking about that girl, that she witnessed this and how traumatic this was. But then after that video, that's not everything that happened. So Projo, if you have that video, please play that one.
I was in lunch, and all of a sudden I just hear all this screaming and everybody running. And I see Mel running in after somebody, and everyone's screaming and running. But the girl who got attacked didn't see it because she was face backwards. And all of a sudden you just hear these terrible, like, loud bangs of the Stanley bouncing off her head. And then you see Mel grabbing her hair and hitting her against the table and just repeatedly hitting her with the Stanley. There was blood going everywhere. I was the table right behind it. And all you see is blood everywhere. And it was just, and then you say in your email that it was 8 minutes, but we timed it, it was 28 minutes. And we had to sit in there and watch them clean up her blood off those tables and ground. And we had to watch them take her out with blood dripping down her face, and I will never forget that. And laying in bed last night, I just kept repeating it in my head, and we shouldn't have had to sit there and just watch them clean up her blood with the mop, watch her repeatedly yelling that I'm gonna murder you, and just hitting her with the Stanley. And I don't get how, you couldn't have stopped it. It was 5 hours from when I told you it was going to happen and when it happened. It was 5 whole hours. I don't get how you couldn't have stopped that.
And so the crux of this is this little girl knew that this was going to happen. And here, we don't even have to play the second video, but there's a second video of a dad going to the school board. And it's not even the dad of this little girl. This girl watched this, and she knew it was going to happen because this kid named Mel came from another school district in Pennsylvania, and Mel was kicked out of that school. Turns out no one will talk about it. Mel is a transgender. Mel is really a boy that dresses like a girl, but everyone there calls this kid a girl. So it's a 13-year-old male beating a 12-year-old in the head with the Stanley Cup.
An 11-year-old girl.
A girl. That's right. So it was a girl. So a boy beat this girl with a Stanley Cup. Now, this girl doesn't even know Mel. This kid had moved into the school about a week ago, being expelled from another school. So everyone already knew the violence this kid would produce.
How long is the father video?
The father video, maybe 30 seconds.
Can we hear the father video? Let's hear the father video that had a problem with what's going on.
This was a teenage boy who beat on a little girl. All right? Call it what it is. I don't care. Don't look at me like that, Mr. Fusco. You're a father. What if that was your daughter? What if that was your daughter? And I'm sorry, I didn't want to be here. I'm here because people reach out to me. I'm here because apparently too many people are afraid to just say that. Men and women are different, all right? Whatever you want to do as an adult, God bless you, that's fine. You have that right. But let kids be kids. Let them make that decision later in life when it's appropriate. All right? Men and women are not the same. Our hormones are not the same. Our strength is not the same. Our aggression is not the same. How come none of the articles said that it was a boy attacking a girl? How come Half the people here kept switching between he and she. And again, I have nothing against any type of community, but what's right is right and what's fair is fair, and that's not cool. And if this kid was protected simply because they were trans and not because of any other reason, that's not cool. They have a violent past.
And so this boy had a violent past, and this girl found out that he had some sort of a list on who he was going to hurt. And so this girl,
the boy's name is Mel.
The girl, I don't know the girl that was in the previous video, she wasn't hit at all. She was the one that witnessed it.
She allegedly was next.
She was allegedly next. And she literally went to the principal and told him it was coming. And 5 hours later, this incident happened. And nobody listened to this girl.
Yep.
Nobody listened.
And it all gets into not talking up and being afraid. Well, we're not going to say this. We don't want to ruffle feathers.
That's
You
right.
know, we just, you know,
Mhm.
we're just going to be really quiet now and not worry and just go on with our life and get
That's
our
right.
coffee and our happy hours and our
Mhm.
sports and our friends and our bubble.
That's right.
Before you
right.
know it, one thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next.
Correct. And now that girl that saw it is she will be, just like she was crying in front of the school board. She is so upset that she's never going to get over this. It's traumatic.
Yeah, we just pray that those things, you know, that in time,
Mhm.
that time can help again.
That's right.
But he
That's
says, I hate this. Adults can do what they want. Acceptance. It's an abomination against God.
yeah.
Hey guys, we're grateful. Going over a little bit. I know maybe we'll start. I don't know. We got to figure this out. We get big audience rolling in towards
Yeah.
the end of our show. We're here
Especially
live.
on X, big audience.
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
live and we love it. We love Elon's platform. You know, we love Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Clout Hub, some of the places you can watch us live. We're grateful. And of course, if you can't watch us live, you can check us out on Google and Spotify and Apple. And please like, subscribe, share the show if you like what we're doing. Our free speech platform, you can check in, canceltheshow.com. We have a donate button for our free speech. Also, we have merchandise as well, where we have different cups and coolies and hats and things like that. So, yeah, Connie's saying 3 hours. We would go 3 hours, but it costs a lot of money to keep these lights on.
Yeah. It costs a lot of money. We started
Joe,
off with 3
Lizzie,
hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of time is being given already. So,
Yes.
we would love to. We'll continue to do that. You know, we do this all day long, 24/7, talking, chatting, trying to bring the best stories that we can possibly bring to you that you guys want to know,
Mhm.
not only from a standpoint in the Midwest, but all across the country and the world for that matter. And if you guys have ideas on guests, if you have story ideas, just let us know. Those at Vic at cancelthisshow.com, Lizzie at cancelthisshow.com. And thanks for your patience as we continue to figure out our studio and put the new studio together. So we are grateful for all of that. Guys, that does it for the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. April 24th. Have an amazing day. And be sure to come back and check with us again tomorrow. We'll be back here again. And of course, let everybody know what we're doing. All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.